practically every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record albums have their own hidden symbols and messages, as well as all the lyrics of all the top rock songs. And they all sing the same refrain. It's fun.
This is a special request. We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing. We want you to smoke the natural herb. Some call it marijuana, some call it sensimilla, some call it lamb's bread, and some people call it ganja.
Welcome to another episode of the Adam Dunn Show. A very special episode, I should say. I am your host, Adam Dunn.
And I'm your co-host, Mitch Shinasa, and you'd think after a year of doing that, he would be good at it.
It's the pauses that are important, you know? It's like this. That's how it sets you apart from the rest, you know?
Drama.
Pure drama around here today.
Drama.
Actually, we've got the fullest I've ever seen it in the studio.
It's the fullest on the studio. It's the fullest. Usually there's 3 segments on the call sheet. There are 10 segments on the call sheet today.
You're getting 10 segments. Well, it's going to be a wrap-up of the... We're doing like that, you know, at the end of the year when you like the news, they show you all the news of what happened.
The best of.
Yeah, I used to love that as a kid.
I love it.
Yeah, you didn't have to... Like, you just wait for that. You don't even watch the news. Just wait till the end of the year. Oh, we got to...
We're bringing back a lot of the best stuff of the year.
That was the best of how we normally do the show, right?
Right,
there.
and then...
we're going to recreate the entire year.
We also, to bring it back to our roots, there is no timer today.
No timer.
So,
we're going back to my style.
It's as if Adam Dunn is your producer once again.
No, I'm surprised we have a call sheet. That makes sense.
I know. Well, half of it, the left half is all wrong.
Okay, that's
good. Yeah,
just
the right half.
We're on a roll. We're on a roll.
Wrong date on top and everything.
So in studio we have a ton of people.
So
on the phones we're gonna have a ton of people.
It's
do a list. You gonna list it, or are you just gonna?
Well, let's kind of get people prepped.
Ooh, get them excited.
In studio
live.
We have, and we're not gonna show them all on camera. Of course, Crunchy, who looks kind of like young Ghostface Killah today, and not just because he's black. The whole look, though, it's the look.
Well, the black helps.
But Crunch, you're with that, right? The look
does tend to help a little bit. But yeah, you saw that toast face killer thing the other day? Did you see that?
No,
that was
I
good.
did not.
Somebody Instagrammed a toast face. You saw that with the toast, and that was pretty good.
Murphy Murray's on her way, listening in the car.
Way. We got P-Bud in studio.
P-Bud in studio, bringing back some of the classic guests. Mr. Jason Pinsky.
What up?
He's never been in studio on the show? Has he? Yeah, okay.
Of course he has.
And his good friend, super chemist, Mark Scialdone.
Scialdone.
I know how to say it. I just don't know how to spell it. That's what I'm saying. I don't even know who's behind me. I think Strain Man is here. Yeah, Rye Pritchard from Cannabis. We got Tiny Martinez, who's not in jail.
Fresh out of jail.
And Bike Holly.
Yo.
So, packed studio, and then calling in for you guys. First of all, this is what I want to do. I want to give out the call-in number right now, because if any of you guys listening want to call in and talk to really anybody, do it when it's appropriate. The studio call-in number is 720-381-1420. Keep in mind there is a delay. So, there will be a delay, and you got to turn your speakers down before you call.
Yeah, don't do one of those classics.
Because otherwise we'll hang up on you if you're messing up the show. Because we got to make it fun for everyone, and if you bring cupcakes, you better bring enough for everybody in the studio.
So Murphy said that she had to turn around and go back home because she left candies, and the dog will eat them. The dog will eat them all.
The dog is going to eat the candies.
Yeah, so she's got to go save the dog. Right?
Okay, so Murphy's going to save the dog.
So yeah, we got that.
I don't know, whatever. And so calling in, we have Jim Freire, very requested return guest. He's going to have a little conversation with our in-studio chemist, Mark Scialdone, about cannabis chemistry, maybe cannabis concentrate chemistry, some cool stuff like that. Nick T is going to be calling in. He's out in Cali working. He wanted to be in studio, but
kind of hard from
out of
Cali.
state. Yeah, he just flew out yesterday, so he's going to call in, check in. Danny Danko's calling in.
Oh, the dankster.
Then after the first jump, we got Chemdog, AJ, JJ.
A lot of J's.
And then Dave Richards, Dave Mann, if you're listening.
We'd love to talk to you again.
We have you scheduled for 12:50 our time. That would be 11:50 West Coast time. We did reach out to Dave, and he was the single most requested appearance, so we're hoping to get him on. We also have Bubbleman coming, and Scott from Nectar for the Gods will be coming in right before the end of the show. So, guys, how we did this is we kind of just posted on my Facebook and the Adam Dunn Show Facebook asking who you guys wanted to hear back, and we got a hold of those people. So if you want to be participating in things like that in the future, don't forget to follow us on Facebook. You got to use your real name. That's the thing. You got to use your real name.
It's all about real names now. For some
So
reason,
don't
for
hide,
some
though.
reason,
It's
Facebook
cool.
thinks that like internet needs real names. I don't know. I don't even understand that at all. Makes no sense. Especially when
Makes
it's
no
business
sense.
names. It's like business names that you need to turn to your real name, and no one knows your business anymore. Like, come on now.
You're supposed to set up a different type of page for a business.
Whatever.
You just got to always represent for your real name, bro.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You use your real name,
Well, I
not
don't-
on Facebook, though.
I always well for Sage
Not on
Master. You
Facebook.
mean? Yeah.
No, your real name
I
is
don't even
Adam
have
Dunn.
Facebook. Yeah, I don't even have Facebook.
But you do.
Well, I kind of do. I have multiple.
You seem to
things.
get all your news off it.
I know it's amazing.
We
I
have a
forgot
friend
with no
who's-
Facebook. I
we have
share
a
my
friend who's a
Facebook.
fictional character on Facebook.
Yeah, there you go. Fictional character. You got to create a fictional character page for yourself, but then you can't like message people. But the Adam Dunn Show has a Facebook page. We also have a YouTube channel which just hit 667 subscribers.
Ooh, 667.
We made it past 666. It was scary
We
there for a
saved.
second.
Yeah, that was on Halloween almost.
I know. That's what I saw coming, and I was like, if that happens, we have to stop doing the show.
Yeah, that would be too much.
But we checked this morning, and we were 24,992 views on YouTube
So
as
we
of
only
this
need 8
morning.
more people to view something on YouTube. So, get
So
in
guys,
there.
pull up some YouTube videos,
Just while
please,
you're
and
just-
tip us over the edge.
Open some extra windows while you're watching this.
Send the links to all your friends. Post them all over social media and in forums. If you're on forums, post the link to watch the stream right now. A lot of people don't know how to watch the show live.
I know even I'm getting confused sometimes.
Well, to
But
do
luckily
that,
I'm
you
on the show.
go
Luckily I'm on
to
the show, so I'm good.
iCannabisradio.com, right? See, we're confused. So big show. I don't know. It's getting smoky and hectic in the studio. It's a 1-year anniversary, and if anyone wants to call in, we don't have our technology, so I know you guys are probably buzzing in the chat room. Call in. Just call
we don't
in.
have our Murphy. No buzz. Zero buzz. They don't
Zero
care.
buzz.
They're like 1 year.
What are they
1
saying?
year.
What are they saying?
Oh,
Congratulations.
good.
Cool.
Hey, well,
Call
thanks.
in and let's hear your voice. Maybe we'll give you some free shit if you impress us, and that usually gets people calling in. I got some nectar for the God's Newts I could give away. I'll give away
There you go.
a full nectar box to the best call we get today.
Best call. Voted on by.
Voted on by you guys, yeah.
Yeah,
So
by the peanut.
I
gallery.
have yeah. That's what we'll use the peanut gallery for.
Yeah,
It's
voting stuff.
crunchy.
I gotta be quiet.
How
but
are
they
you
can vote.
wearing a hood in here? It's already 80 degrees.
I know. What's up with you?
Oh,
we
yeah. Oh,
have
he's
Mr. Donovan in
simulating
the
Miami.
studio.
Lord Mayor Donovan.
Lord Mayor. Lord Mayor is back. That's
Please,
spot.
your lordship.
He's alive.
He's alive.
Yeah. Nice.
Nice. Right on. So we have welcome to the studio, as always. We have 3-4 minutes. Let's catch up to date with what's going on with you, what you got going on this weekend, what's going on with the campaign. The long and short.
Well, it looks to me like the numbers are coming out right now, and it's bad news for Hick.
I noticed that too.
Yes, so we just got one more to pick off. We got Hick, now we got to get Bo
Whoa. Got him in the sights.
in the sights. They don't know what kind of team we've got out there on election day. They could be blindsided if we get out.
That's right.
We get out and vote, we got them both.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty exciting. I saw he kind of backpedaled on his whole abortion stance. That was a good move too. To kind of show that, trying now to appease the masses, which is never going to work.
You know, Adam, when somebody does that so regularly, you kind of have a tendency to give up on them.
That's true. That's true.
He's going to lose his hardcore followers because of that, whatever hardcore he has. But it's interesting to say how your visibility and your stance have affected the dialogue this election cycle. No one's wanted to say your name on the other teams, but they've all had to make concessions to you in their public narratives, and it definitely shows an impact, regardless of what anyone's saying.
The effect that this movement has had is that we get out on Tuesday and win this thing. That's the equivalent of a revolution over.
For sure.
Yeah.
Even if we don't, and I don't speak in those terms normally, we've created a movement that will have a voice for years to come. We have to keep building it.
Yeah, there's an election every year.
Yeah,
Did everyone know that there's an election every year?
And people will be inspired, I think, by this one once they, because we're all close to it, so we know what's going down. But as this gets closer to the actual days, and as more media come into town and follow this, I think it's going to get so much coverage anyway.
Well, we talk about it all the time, especially here. We have to be particularly vigilant because the prison industry is going to go upside down without us in their jails What in the world are they going to do? And 75% of the DEA's revenue comes from seizures of marijuana and marijuana-related arrests. How are they going to make up the money? Chris Christie's in here on Friday. Jeb Bush is in here today.
Yeah, I saw Clinton was here also.
Have we had enough yet? I mean, Chris Christie, who was a lobbyist for CCA in 2000 and 2001, the biggest private for-profit prison company in the United States. No wonder he wants to call us potheads. He wants us back in jail.
Yeah, no, it's a whole industry. Which I think your point about them, having to keep the beds filled and stuff like that. I just saw the Union High documentary, and it was basically everything you're talking about is on that movie, and I was just like, wow, he's really like nailing them. You know what I mean? Because it's all facts. You know,
Arizona has 100% bed rate.
That's guaranteed in the contract by the government.
Right.
Yeah?
Now imagine, so we don't keep enough of our brothers and sisters in jail, and by the way, it's 7-to-1 people of color.
Right. Oh yeah,
so if you don't do that in Arizona, would you like to have a hotel contract like that? You wouldn't even hire the maids. You wouldn't open the doors. You'd just say, hey, we're empty. Send me the check.
That's right.
That's what we're doing.
It is a sweetheart deal. Do you have any comment, Mayor Donovan, on the raids that went down yesterday? Do you know anything about them? I guess we're in our news segment now. You conveniently are sitting in the support seat for the news roll. But no, I mean we're talking about the raids that went down yesterday. News broke out on Facebook that 6 locations were raided. People on the scene seem to say that it was a lot, large-scale warehouse-type facilities.
100+ lights.
Yeah, but also we all heard it was private individuals, not licensed businesses. The Associated Press this morning said it seemed to have some connection with something going on from Minnesota, and everything seemed to be going out of state there. And they were questioning whether it was medical or recreational, and my stance on that is it was neither. It was black market. Obviously, it was just if they're not licensed by either authority and they're shipping it all out of state, that's just an illicit black market grow. That has nothing to do with either medical or recreational.
Well, part of the issue we have in this industry and with this movement is to collaborate with the government and force the government to make reasonable regulations if we need them. So if somebody is operating outside that scope, they're giving the government an opportunity to come down on everybody. That's problematic. Now, do I think we need a lot of regulations in our life? Obviously, no. Because this movement and these people have been regulating themselves. They're not handing out poison to one another under any circumstances.
That's another point that maybe we could talk about. Well, we got 3 minutes left on the news. The other big news item for the week that I've seen a lot of is the news narrative on careful with your Halloween candy. What it could be laced with cannabis, and there's first the very basic, economic point. Why would anyone do that? Why would anyone spend their money and do that? Why would you there's no reason to do that.
Well, I saw plenty of people putting out that they would be happy if they did that, because instead of kids coming home and bouncing off the walls and being hyper and crazy, they would just come home and pass out, and they'd be like, that was great. That was the best Halloween I've ever had.
The other thing that I thought was really funny along that note is, sugar killed 180,000 people last year.
Yeah, I mean,
no one died from cannabis, so kind of.
It'd be great. Imagine a cannabis Halloween. You just cruised around and everyone threw a nug in your
Halloween.
Oh, man.
Halloween.
We would be lining up
we should set that up.
Let's do that. We'll create a Halloween.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
You just have a symbol on the house, and that's the house you're going to. You're like the kids.
Certain kind of jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, little green jack-o'-lanterns or something like that.
Right? That's good.
Booyah.
Chat room. Is chat room responding to that idea? We have a call. Bring him in. Yo, caller.
What's going on?
What's going on? Who's this?
This is Andres. This is a sour better from Miami. You guys sent me down that CBD thing, I believe. That CBD test kit.
Nice. You got it?
Not yet.
It's
not there.
Okay. Good. So Ryan's on that one, I guess. He's not in the studio today, so we don't know the status of the kits there. But yeah, that's basically the same kits that they're using now. You see, have you guys seen them on the news there? The kits, because they've got pretty much nationwide press with those, using them for testers for those.
No, I still haven't heard anything, but just from what you guys have showed.
Right on, man. Well, thanks for calling in today. What's going on? You got a question for Mayor Donovan, or any comments for the show?
No, really. I just wanted to show the appreciation. It's 1 year. You know what I mean? I caught I called him to the show like about 3 months ago, and fucking.
Oh, great.
You guys do a lot of good work, man. Especially with all the breakdown of the chem line and the sour line, and now the OG line, man. You guys are putting Miami on the map. You know what I mean?
I guess we're helping you out a lot,
Yeah,
man.
there you go, bro.
I guess we're doing a little bit more for the triangle. So
That's right.
It's pretty groundbreaking.
Nice, man. Well, are you subscribed on YouTube? Because we're going to be dropping some special videos. In general, everyone should subscribe to us on YouTube and link with us on Facebook too, because we're going to be dropping some stuff that's not on the schedule, and it's going to be cast separately as we go out and try to do some produced content. So stay in the loop there.
Yeah, no, I definitely will, man. Subscribe. So.
Right on, dude.
Back to support you guys. I definitely will, man.
All
Thanks,
right.
brother.
Thanks, Miami.
Thanks for the call.
Have a good one, bro.
You too, bro.
Peace.
Well, back in the news, we've got Brian Bonnet, who's having to go before some folks in Wheat Ridge today.
Wheat Ridge, Colorado.
Wheat Ridge, Colorado. And he just said, I just wanted to say that I'm going to Wheat Ridge Municipal Court at 1:30 for our pretrial conference in regards to Three Kings dab supply being cited a while back, so we had to get a license for our social club. The city's been throwing roadblocks, and we've been suppressing them, or surpassing, misspelled. I just wanted to share this. I want you to know why I want you to be the governor. I want to establish a good business for good people, but our system is broken.
Yeah, I mean,
Three Kings Dab Supply, they
had problems with the neighbors, I think. It was kind of a classic. I was like one of those, when I read their report, I was like, I could easily have seen Hood Lab put in there just because it was the same situation.
You could just do a find and replace.
Yeah, you could just replace. I mean, because it was like we never had that because we're just lucky, I guess, like that. But we definitely had issues with sound or whatever. But when it came to smoking, because we were just in the right spot, no problems. That's the main thing. Is like I think when you move into a new house, you should just blaze as hard as you can, like open all the windows, smoke as hard as you can, leaf blower the whole place out, do whatever you got to do.
You can rent the leaf blower from us
just for this purpose, and then you'll know within a radius which neighbors suck, and then you'll
know. You
and
make a little
deal
map,
and you make them. Yeah, exactly.
And then
change
you know how
wind
big
pattern.
your party can be.
Whatever you need to do. But in general, yeah, I think it's same with sound. I always crank up the tunes.
Crank it and see.
Just when I move in. Later, I don't care. But right when I move in.
So one of the things that politics will do for us, if you're on the inside at any level, you have a chance to speak to people differently. So the mayor of Wheat Ridge is a pretty good guy. You could sit down and talk to him mano a mano. Once that education occurs and they get over this reefer madness insanity and see what is actually happening, like the canna moms.
Right.
When they see what is actually happening out there, they're never exposed to it because they don't go where the people really live. They're only sticking with their own folks over in that section of town. So they never meet anybody. That's what we've got to do in this movement. We've got to educate these people about what really goes on.
Yeah.
Instead of this innuendo and all this other nonsense.
Well, the problem is imagination can run wild for most people. And, whatever's behind closed doors is way crazier in their mind usually than reality. You know what I mean? So if they think, oh, there's something going on behind there, they're going to embellish so much into that. You know what I mean? And if you just expose the truth, or sometimes it's like, really? That's
just
it?
that?
That's it? You know what I mean? That's usually the cannabis. That's the cannabis thing in my mind is like, because they just see it, for what it really is.
Well, that's the reason reefer madness worked.
And by contrast, and this is my segue. I got to call out the 1 year anniversary segue. You
don't call out segues.
That's what we do. It's a callback to us doing it.
Okay, I remember now. Don't
1 year anniversary segue to, cannabis is, by contrast, the fact that it's actually rather healing compared to things that are intended to heal and do quite a bit of harm. And on that note, I want to introduce our in-studio guest, Jason Pinsky, we've known Pinsky I've known you a little over a year now. Adam, a bit around the same time.
Actually, we Adam and I met in Amsterdam in '94.
Well, there you go. So
KGBCA party.
It was one, yeah, exactly.
Reconnected.
But we reconnected
about a year ago, but yeah.
Right on. So, Pinsky, why don't you bring everyone who's listening who doesn't know you, maybe just sees your post on Facebook, or doesn't at all, up to speed on you, your story, and how that really ties in with all this.
Well, from a medical perspective, so first of all, we all love weed, so let's just establish that, right?
We prefer to call it herb, though.
Cannabis,
for political
actually.
reasons.
Cannabis is really the...
I thought it was pot.
No,
You can pot is if you're like a soccer mom.
I try not to
Get all
say.
potted
I
up,
try not
right?
to
Was
say
that what it was?
marijuana whenever possible.
Right,
but-
I go cannabis over
Like,
marijuana.
marijuana's not good.
And then I go herb over weed because a weed just means an undesirable plant, whereas an herb means a desirable aromatic.
So
plant.
That makes much more sense.
let's start over. We all love cannabis, right?
Sure.
Okay, so there you go. I could remember smelling good bud around the house when I was a kid, and really as I started to grow up, it was a part of my life. I mean, I remember reading High Times, in the '80s, and my first cannabis cup, like I mentioned, it was the first one that they started in 1994. They had been doing cannabis cups on their own, and writing about it for about 6 years. So this was actually the 7th annual.
It was the first public one, right?
First
And that's
public
the one
cup,
you
yeah.
did.
No, the one I did was a 6th. So
Okay,
that
so
was
yeah.
public, but that was only 50 people. The next year was really public, and it was about 800 people.
Yeah,
So
there was.
So
But
you went to the first commercial one.
the first commercial one, yeah,
Just to
no.
make
The
that
first
clear.
Custody Cup.
I
You
was
went to
a-
the Custody Cup, yeah.
Okay,
First
but on
Custody Cup.
on that trip, it was like me, and it was Chemdog and Cushman and Harrer, and it was
Obviously.
a bunch of dudes. From that point on, I mean, I came back to New York, and really, one of the things that in addition to cannabis, it's been in my life is really music, right? So, we started seeing Grateful Dead shows in the late 80s, 89, 88 was probably my first show at MSG, and then Fish, I started listening to in 91. My first show was in 92. And we started taping Fish shows. Taping, it's also very community driven. So when you're a taper, you're sitting in the same section every night. You're seeing the same people, and the cannabis scene right on tour was obviously. I mean, we've talked before about how Fish tour and Grateful Dead tour has really helped to establish the strains getting across the country, and
Absolutely. It was a common place for the meeting of like minds. Is that
Yeah.
P-Bud's thumbing up, Mark's double thumbing up.
We got the peanut the Peabud gallery.
So I started taping Fish shows. I had some gear, and I moved into the city in '93, and I started taping shows. I mean, that was basically the deal. I had equipment. Wetlands was totally happening back then, but I was not only. I mean, there were 10 people taping at Wetlands. I was going downtown to some of the jazz spots, and some. I started to work with a band called Groove Collective. That was my first gig in music, recording in the city, and did that for a couple of years, started their archive, and that led to me getting a gig with Medeski Martin & Wood. And in '96, me and Federico started recording their stuff, multi-track, and, really launched a whole thing because, when I came back from Amsterdam in '94, I mean, shit, that was the first time that I had seen a regulated or a tolerated cannabis market, right? And I was 21, and it was life-changing. I mean, it was crazy, but coming back into New York, you're not going to be doing that full time, right? My background and the way that I made my career is in technology. My brother and I started a software company in the '90s, and we developed software for our family business that wound up being a product that we started to really, set out in the fashion and apparel industry. And that was my day gig. I'd be a tech guy during the day, and then at night I'd go record shows. And I met some heads I've been connected to the bud scene, forever. So it really was kind of my triangle, so to speak, was cannabis, technology, and music. And that's what I did for the most of the '90s. And in the '90s, after I got out of the software business, I decided to start my own thing in '98. And at that time, we had been going back to Amsterdam, not with the Cannabis Cup, but on our own trips. And in Amsterdam, when we were in New York, I mean, the three big bud that was in New York back then was the obviously the Chemdog and the Sour. Those are my boys, right? And then the Nige also. It was those haze strains were that was my top 3 in New York City for sure. And of those 3, the hazes were my favorite. And going to Amsterdam,
And that's the reason to go to Amsterdam
yeah,
right there.
I mean, right,
Not
the
enough
haze,
people grow hazes in
yeah,
America, that's
of
for sure.
course.
Or just any kind of sativas for that matter.
So I was putting my own thing together, to be able to do the technology music thing and have it, and that's when I established Haze City. Which is cool, man. I've been paying taxes as Haze City in New York State since '98, and granted, we were a technology consulting music production company, but I always kept that on the back burner, knowing that we would want to take that forward. And, we did the production thing for a few years, and it was actually at an MMW show in the city where I was in a rush to get dinner. I jumped over a fence, and I injured my back. And it required surgery, man. I mean, I ruptured a disc. I was told by 2 doctors that I had, if I didn't have them go in, that I would have permanent leg pain, nerve pain on my leg. And the surgery alleviated my leg pain, but it didn't fix my back. And they wanted to go in and do another surgery, a fusion or a disc replacement. And I was like, no thanks, right? And for 2 years, it sucked, man. You know, this was in the September of 2000 was really when I had the surgery. And for those couple of years, like trying to, you know, living in chronic pain is every day. I mean, people have acute pain that happens to them, whatnot, but being in a chronic pain situation for an extended period of time is no way to live. And I didn't want to have another surgery, you know, and, you know, you go to your doctors and they route you to pain management, and that's like that brings on a whole thing. You know, it's great in a sense because it gets you out of pain and it allows you to get on and function with your life. But I mean, you don't need me to tell you that opiates and trying to live that kind of life is I mean, it kills people. I mean, straight up. And I'm lucky in my experience, right? You know, the book and the movie 12 Years a Slave, right? That's right. Well, so my story that I'm going public with now is 14 years a slave, right?
You had to two-up them.
Yeah, well, you know.
You're such a two-upper.
I'm such a two-upper. Yeah, basically, you know, I spent 12 years from 2000 to 2012 in a pain program, you know, with a top doctor. But your dose, I mean, has to continue to increase. So my dose of opiates was massive, and you know, it was really a motorcycle accident in 2012 that was like kind of like that life-changing experience for me. I wound up severing my hamstring in my right leg. When you're a 12-year opiate-tolerant patient that now needs to go in for a second surgery, like that's kind of complicated. And I found myself post-surgery, like, you know, recovering for 6 months, you know, with my leg in a brace. And now at this point, I'm 6 months home. I'm the heaviest I've ever been. I'm on the highest dose of pain medication ever. And this was July of 2012. And just as I'm healing up in November of 2012, you guys in Colorado and them boys in Washington did some really amazing stuff. And you guys really started to push the envelope in terms of recreational adult use legislation. And here I am in New York. I had just been down for like 6 months. And really, when you have the opportunity to take 6 months off, you know, you really get to look at your life and identify what your core values are. And for me, I knew that, like, you know, technology for me had kind of been played. What we built in the 90s was really cool. But by 2013, it was like, you know, it was a different industry, and it really wasn't really the same. For me, I needed to identify, like, what was important to me as far as what I wanted to do next. And for the first thing was I had to get back to loving what I did. Like, that was the number one, you know? And the second one was kind of beaten to my own drum. But when I looked at those two corporate, like, strategies in terms of what I want to do for work next, really I looked at my life and I was like, man, I got to, like, put my health, like, before that, you know? And I've been fortunate enough in my career to have had enough success. And I mean, we started a restaurant. We got a bunch of great stuff going on right now. But, you know, in January of 2013, I really made a commitment to really put my health and focus as my full-time job. And, you know, you can't really focus on that 24 hours a day. I mean, you got to sleep, right? But throughout the rest of it, it was like when I wasn't working on, you know, my tempo, at the same time, if you think 2012, 2013, the extracts and concentrates scene really started to get emerging. And by the time some of that stuff happened in New York, you know, I started to really identify that as you know, look, if New York's going to flip, then I got to, you know, start to really get full-time into this movement now, you know, years before everybody's even thinking about it. And I really think that concentrates and extracts are really the future of the industry.
And you found, you know, this is kind of from what we've noticed, and I do want to start to bring Mark into the conversation, cool. And Jim's going to be calling in a bit here. But you found that through the use of concentrates over a period of 2 years, you were able to cut down from a high-level dose of...
Well, I'll get to that. I mean, basically, you know, I reestablished my relationship with High Times, and they gave me a really great opportunity this year, since it's 20 years later, to judge every Cannabis Cup this year. And that gave me a really first-class seat, right, to high-quality concentrates and extracts. And I've been smoking cannabis for 28 years, right? And only in the last 2 years that I've really been focusing on extracts and concentrates. And you're going to meet Mark, you know, soon. And Mark, by the way, I know from Fish Tour and Dead Tour, and he'll get into his history. But it's no wonder that I'm trying to like hang out with PhD chemists who are my kind of people. It's really to understand that we need to kind of bring more science into this. From my perspective, it took me, my goal was to lose 100 pounds and to be 100% opiate free. And it turned out that I wound up becoming 100% opiate free before I lost the 100 pounds. I maybe still got about 20 to go. But, over the last several months especially, I've been able to go from, and you guys know, a Percocet or a Vicodin, you're talking 5 to 10 milligrams. I mean, my dose was over 1,000 milligrams in 24 hours. And that's lethal. Okay, and to be able to use cannabis concentrates and CBD oils and patches and full spectrum in every single way that I can, to be able to help my endocannabinoid system regulate my body, I was able to get off all those pain meds. So that's like part of it's really important to me to now go public with this and to let people know my story because. New York, we were a very active part in getting the legislation passed in New York this year, but chronic pain is not a qualifying condition. So hopefully that'll be, something that we can do in the future. Yeah,
because that's a pretty classic example of something where, like most people don't get it, but that's the reason why concentrates are important is that fact that when it's a pain management situation, that's the way to get to it quick without, just sitting there and it's interesting to see like with certain conditions, it's instant with just the lightest amount of smoke and it's fine. But when you start talking about chronic pain and stuff, then you really got to get deeper to it's a little bit more.
Well, yeah, I mean, Mark, can talk more to the science of why smoking a joint and getting a partially decarbed cannabinoid therapy is different than a whole plant extract that could be, that's giving you a much higher percentage, So, yeah, the Mark story is basically Mark and I, we met on Fish Tour in the 90s. Our buddy Kevin Shapiro is Fish's archivist, and we've known each other for 20 years. I mean, we've been going to shows and doing the whole scene. But I started to become public with my movement in the cannabis space, which started to grab the attention of the music community. Mark reached out to me earlier this year, and I was actually, hey Pence, let's talk. I'm like, Mark, what's up? He's like, I've been extracting plant oils in an industrial setting, for a large company for the last 20 years. I have experience with he's a PhD chemist. I mean, he's really and all around like a good dude, So I think that from my perspective, he was talking to me about edibles and different stuff like that, and I'm like, Mark, listen. There's actually really cool stuff that we can do. Like, I had no idea that you were a PhD organic synthetic chemist. Let's talk.
Slide that over there.
Get over.
Don't let him talk for you. He'll talk forever. That guy. That guy.
And so, Pinsky, I wanna just follow up on your story and get your confirmation. So if you can side shout near Mark,
Sure.
So. You were able to go from a dose of over 1,000 milligrams of opiates a day to no opiates a day, and you're living pain-free as long as you follow a cannabis regimen. Is that accurate?
1,000% accurate. Actually, it was over 1,250 milligrams a day to be specific.
Of opiates a day.
Of OxyContin and oxycodone, yeah, absolutely. And when you become opioid tolerant, you can get through your day and function. I mean, people have known me in work. I mean, I've done a bunch of stuff.
You've clearly been successful in operating a business.
But the difference now, it's like I feel like the last 14 years has been fuzzy around the edges. Like if you know me from 20 to 30, it was like a rocket ship, and then from 30 to 40, I mean, I look back and I look at my son Jordan, and I'm like, well, good. I was able to be around and be a dad, and I thank my wife, man, that I'm alive. Really.
And now. Are you in a situation where your pain's really are you on a strict regimen with cannabis?
I mean, I use cannabis daily. Okay.
But how many times a day? And I guess
Frequently.
What would your cannabis dosage be like or required?
I try not to. If I have to really get into a meeting or something where I need to be focused, then I'll try to do an alternative kind of delivery. You know, it's not just about doing dabs or vaporizing extracts. You know, we use patches, we use CBD pills. You know, we really believe in full spectrum cannabinoid therapy and that it's important. So it's not just about, you know, trying to get a THC or trying to get high or trying to be high all the time. You know, it's really about
and I
trying
want to kind of use that to segue
go ahead.
to Mark. Yeah. So, Mark, your background is you know more than anybody in this room about the real technical sciencey stuff of pulling apart plants on the tiniest level. Is that crudely accurate?
Extracting the essential plant oils from plants that express those oils in glandular trichomes.
Specifically?
Yes.
Well, that's
pretty on point. That's pretty on
pretty
point.
convenient for what we're doing here.
I never knew when I was working on that 10 years ago that I'd be sitting in here today and working with this guy and having the opportunity to, as Jason would say, inject more science into this wonderful
Did
industry.
you imagine it ever? Were you working with that technology and just thinking, you know, cannabis is also a plant?
Yeah, I
like
think
this?
it was late during a drum set solo, maybe 93. It kind of dawned on me that, hey, man. No, I think that where the industry is right now, and I think where Jason and I feel is that there's a whole need to develop really an education mechanism to enlighten the masses on you know the science that underpins not only the cannabis but the extraction, as Jason referred to, also delivery. I mean, we're seeing patches, we're seeing salves, and certainly the edibles. We had a little discussion at the meeting earlier in Denver this week. I can't believe this thing with the lollipops that the Denver police put out. And so I put a comment on that, and I said, don't child-proof the world, world-proof the child.
I think that's responsible parenting.
Exactly. And I've raised two happy and healthy kids that are productive members in society.
So I want to kind of like steer more specifically and have you break down like what Pinsky said before is actually great. What's the difference between when you smoke raw cannabis, when you eat cannabis, and when you take a dab? We all know experience. Or what's the difference even between hash oil and hash even?
Yeah. So certainly when you combust cannabis, I mean, you're getting a lot of combustion products that probably is not the best thing to be pulling into your lungs. But, they've done many, many studies, and these are out in the open scientific literature, and there's a lot of information up on YouTube about this, that they followed cigarette smokers, and they've looked at cannabis smokers, and they looked at people who didn't smoke at all. And as it turns out, cannabis smokers have a much lower incident of lung disease than people who don't smoke at all. And so that, I think, really says what we're bringing into our lungs. Yeah, smoke and carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide are probably not the greatest things. Tar, certainly. But the delivery of these cannabinoids into your respiratory system must be having some type of prophylactic protective effect that, we really need to study and understand the mechanisms that underpin that.
And if our guest, Jim Freire, is calling, that's his theory, too. I don't know if he's listening in, but Jim, if you're listening, it's your cue, buddy.
So I just wanted to say that Jim and I kind of were introduced in this forum, and we've had a couple discussions since. And he's a great, very knowledgeable guy, and I look forward to any interaction I have with Jim. It's great.
That's what I was led to understand. So I thought it'd be cool to kind of like be a fly on the wall for one of those.
Excellent.
But hopefully we'll get Jim to call in. I did speak with him this morning, and we were on. I'll go ahead and shoot him a text here. But can you talk about what are the challenges that one faces? What would you do different as a chemist from just, shooting some butane through some weed?
Well,
don't give away the secrets, obviously, but just like fundamentally, how would a chemist go about that process? It wouldn't involve butane, I imagine.
Well, no, actually, butane's an excellent extraction solvent. The thing with butane is you have to make sure it's all gone in your final product. I think we all know that. Butane and hexane and a lot of these hydrocarbon solvents are used. You think about this every time you fry French fries in vegetable oil. Vegetable oil is obtained by a degumming of soybean with hexane. His hexane is petrochemical derived, and so all vegetable oil, just about except for cold pressed oil, is extracted from soybeans and other seed oils. So these hydrocarbons are items of very large commerce and certainly petrochemical derived, but most of the foods that we have today are highly processed, and they are just used in that processing.
And so what's the difference between how a chemist would remove the butane and how
I think
grower would remove the butane?
These boys got it dialed in. Just the vacuum oven techniques that I've seen, and I've seen a few just by going to the cup and looking at some of the equipment that's available. And most of the labs do residual solvent analysis to make sure that all solvent is purged. So I think right now, the industry is using the same kind of information and the same kind of techniques that a chemist in a industrial laboratory would be using. Yeah, we want to bring more science because I think the idea is that when you do the extraction process, there's a lot of things in that trichome that comes out, including waxes and terpenes and whatnot.
And I think, do we have Jim on the line?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, awesome, Jim. You're on the line with Mark Scialdone.
Meeting of the Minds.
Meeting of the
Jim.
Minds on our 1 year anniversary.
Hi.
How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing okay. I'm having a little bit of connectivity problems out here in the boondocks right now, but other than that, doing fine.
Right on. Well, we have our little, we're going to have a little chemist convo for about 5 minutes here. Mark, please continue with exactly what you were saying. And Jim, please, chime in where appropriate, my friend.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'll just say that I got a lot out of the dab the 2 dab programs that were on the Adam Dunn Show. And when Jim, you called in, you sent me some literature, and I think we had a couple follow-up conversations. I think I sent you some literature too, if I remember correctly. But we had a really nice exchange, and we really realized that there's an opportunity again to share this knowledge and to make sure that people who are making these kinds of products or who are involved in this kind of industry where you're processing plant oils can gain from the collective knowledge. And I'm not just talking about proprietary knowledge. I'm talking about general knowledge that's in the open literature that, again, can be shared from a number of different sources. And Jim is a wealth of that knowledge. He is really probably uniquely positioned to be one of the leading people in this area of chemistry.
So can you guys, we got about 4 minutes left on this little segment, and we're trying to do an all-star lineup today, which is a crazy thing to try to do on this sort of show, but we're doing it. So can you guys kind of give us an example of like one little tip or practical technique that people can make a shift in and get something that's scientifically a better product?
I'll defer to Jim.
I can give you a real quick kind of a quantitative analysis of the lipid fraction in your extracts.
Okay, that sounds.
And that's real easy to do. What you're going to want to do is take about, take 10 mils of ethanol and dissolve in that 0.75 to 1 gram of your extract, and then put it enclosed in a freezer and let it sit overnight, and then filter out the precipitate. Let it dry and weigh it, and you're going to get a quantitative analysis of lipid fraction in your extract. Mm-hmm. It's a real easy, simple thing to do. You can back check to see whether or not whatever dewaxing processes you're using are being effective. And it's just a simple way for somebody who's making concentrates to check their work.
And with the 3 minutes left, can we talk about, the advantages and disadvantages? Pinsky, you're a good one to get in on this, man. You judge cups. Dewax product, better, worse?
We've had there's a lot of tech on that right now. Some guys are building extractors that have inline dewaxing tech, which is really cool. Other guys have tech that just uses low enough pressures and temperatures to not strip those waxes during the extraction. So personally, I've been really lucky to have about 60 different entries every couple of months.
And what's the best, man?
I actually prefer the terps.
So that comes in the non-dewaxed product.
Well, so from my perspective, I'm going as if you can do a de-wax product that's terpeous,
right? That's the most desirable thing. Then that's certainly what with that said, right? I don't know if this is too short for me to ask or too big a question to ask in 2 minutes. What would be the basic principle behind trying to do the extraction and de-wax and retain or reintroduce some amount of terpenes?
Well, the advantages would be to your lungs. The waxes themselves are just noxious contaminants. The problem is that they're so similar to a lot of the terpene components, and they like to latch on. In fact, one of the methods of extracting terpenes is to lay flowers out on fat. And you can extract terpenes that way. So these waxes and lipids in the plant itself are going to cling to those terpenes much more tightly than any solvent can separate them from it.
So there's really no way to extract just the waxes?
There is, but you need to strip the terpenes previous.
Mm-hmm. So we saw a machine at the so we were at the Infused Products and conference yesterday, an extraction conference, and I've always had mixed opinions about CO2 extraction, for example, because I've never had a CO2 product that I like to CO2 for infused is one thing, but like something I want to dab is like whatever. And yesterday I saw a machine by Waters that had 3 separate chambers that you can use different pressures. And the first chamber collected the waxes, the second was collected the concentrate, and the third one collected just the most volatile compounds, just the terpenes. And what they were talking about in that sense was making a not engineered, but
no, but you would just basically take the separated components and reconstitute, right? Because you're basically making 3 separate fractions, as Jason said. The low boiling terps.
Chromatography.
Yeah, it's basically doing. That's right, Jim.
But sunny day theory.
The point on that is there's a lot of talk right now about products on the industry, right, that are re-adding terpenes and where those terpenes are coming from and whether they're cannabis derived or whether they're derived from other organic plants and whatnot. And I think it's. I mean, look, people are making concentrate products, and people have formulations, right? And if those formulations contain terpenes that come from the same plant as the concentrate product, then that's something that I'm interested in.
That's more interesting, right?
Of course.
But now,
that's really expensive. That's one of those. That's cost prohibitive, right there.
We're a little bit over on our time.
As seen by Kay's.
I don't know. I'm going to hit up Nick T because this is his cue. But, gentlemen, we still, until he calls in, I want to take that and talk about...
Well, I'd like to add one thing. So I prefer a de-wax product because a lot of these oils and lipids, they're not just serving some unknown purpose on the leaf surface. They're actually the cellular compartments, the brick and mortar of the cellular compartments in which the glandular trichomes are composed of. So when these are melted by a solvent, a lot of these oils actually thermally decompose before they would volatilize. So when you go to dab that's that crap that you end up getting on your nail is basically degraded vegetable oil components, and these are the brick and mortar of the glandular trichomes themselves. And so
now those would be in dry sift hash, though, correct?
Yes, they would.
And now, Jim, I know you're with us on this.
I'm well prepared for this one because I have to go over this repeatedly. We're comparing apples and oranges. A nonpolar extract is in no way, shape, or form comparable to the polar and nonpolar and semipolar compounds in a natural plant product, such as dry sift, bubble hash, or even plain plant material. So as soon as you hit something with a nonpolar solvent, you've automatically eliminated anything polar.
Mark's nodding, so for listeners that can't hear.
Absolutely correct.
Completely useless and just need to go by the wayside or into the trash can after the extraction is done is part and parcel to the reason why cannabis is kind of stalled in the doldrums right now. Natural plant products contain many polar compounds which act as expectorants and act as nucleation points for all these other compounds which you really don't want in your system. It's one of the reasons that they can show that smoking marijuana is actually beneficial to your lungs. It's because of the non-polar components. The polar components of the plant.
Right.
They act as nucleation points and they act as expectorants.
So,
now,
Mark,
when you leave those behind, what you've got is a sticky, waxy substance. I don't know if anybody on the panel there has actually played with this wax, but if you rub it between your thumb and forefinger, it turns to almost like a glue.
Yes.
And if you don't have something that will allow that to nucleate, if it's just going to stick to your alveoli, then you've got issues. In natural plant products like dry sift or bubble hash, you've got these polar compounds that help expectorate these noxious contaminant waxes. You have various polar terpenes that are known expectorants. Up until 1964, one of the main over-the-counter cough medications was called terpene hydrate. It was terpinolene hydrate. It was a hydrated terpene that you took in. It was a polar terpene that you took in to stop your cough.
Jim, is that one water soluble?
Terpinolene hydrate is, yes.
Yes, okay.
So that comes into, hopefully Nika will call in, because that does come into the essential technique of hash making. You know, that's your challenge. It's soluble in water. If you're making bubble hash,
Gotta move fast.
And keep it cold.
Then when you're doing a water wash, you're washing capsules protected in wax off the plant. Those polar compounds that are inside those capsules are protected by that wax.
So
you look at a
so
photograph
the
up close
waxes
of
coagulate, right?
A good water bubble hash, and you can see the individual trichomes unbroken.
Right.
So the water never has a chance to touch those polar compounds inside. They're not released until they're vaporized.
So does it matter how fast you work then, as long as you keep it cold?
Well, I think you don't want to soak things too long. That waxy coating on the outside is not completely impervious,
So keep it quick
honestly,
and keep it cold.
Even with butane, I keep saying butane when I'm trying to say bubble. With bubble hash, you will note that among the more elite creators, you might get a little bit more of a consensus of a higher terpene level in dry sift, high quality dry sift over bubble.
Yep.
Yes.
So when you're
that's
making,
just because the polar terpenes are being washed off.
That's correct.
so when you're adding a solvent and you're losing the waxy membrane and everything combines, is there any is there any kind of effect from that, or is it beyond just the fact that
does a reaction happen?
Yeah, is there any kind of reaction, do you think?
There's any number of reactions that can happen. In fact, there's so many reactions that are possible that a solid chemist could spend an entire career just studying the extraction of the lipid fraction of cannabis.
Yeah, that's kind of what we talked about.
That's how deep the subject is on this. They're complex. It's very complex. There's fatty acids. There's fatty alcohols. There's sterols.
Flavonoids.
They all have very active ligands. They're basically waxes with active ligands attached to them. And once you create that solvent soup, there's also organic acids involved. The cannabinolic acids are involved. There's other acids involved in the plant. These free hydrogens can cause all kinds of havoc in these active ligands on the sterols and the fatty acids.
Hey, Jim?
Then again, when you blow the butane off and you recondense everything together, there's opportunity there for reactions to occur when molecules that never in the plant would be in close proximity are shoved together.
Hey, Jim, did you ever notice anybody playing around with pH, since there's a lot of acids there, maybe that there's a pH effect on this?
Well, I think that if you really want to extract, you know, a solid cannabinolic acid fraction, that you should go after it with a semipolar solvent acidified.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the THC acid is a polar compound.
Yeah, and the other thing,
it's a semipolar compound. And
if you were to do this in a buffered solution, I was wondering if the salts would affect the polarity of the water phase at all.
I would put money that they do have some effect.
Right.
Like I said, they're partially polar, so it may require a different solvent than water.
Right. Right.
Something a little less polar than, or a little more non-polar than water. Ethyl acetate's a good candidate.
Yes.
You know, for looking at these type of reactions. But again, you know, we're talking about having a fully functional, well-equipped analytical laboratory to do this kind of work. I mean, and until we get a little bit of movement politically, hopefully, you know, Oregon's going to become the third legal state, and then, you know, maybe we can get some traction on this 100-year stall on research.
And I believe, gentlemen, that we have another caller on the line. Chris?
Yes,
yeah?
It's Danny.
Danny Danko is in the 1 year anniversary party.
Missing man, we've been trying to call you. Where have you been?
Yeah, is your phone shut off, bud?
No,
Are you on vacation?
You know I was on vacation last week. I took it into the ocean on accident. But
I was wondering. I was voicemail.
Yeah, like we're going straight to voicemail. We're
Danny's
on the
usually always available, though. So
yeah,
I mean,
that was shocking.
It's allowable. Like
yeah, he gets a break,
time
I
to
guess.
time.
Yeah.
We'll make
hey,
it happen.
happy anniversary, you guys.
Thanks,
It's
man.
pretty rad. I learned something from every show.
There
Awesome,
you go.
dude.
That's a quote right there.
Danny,
Quote,
I owe you
unquote.
some
I
quotes.
highly recommend
I owe you some quotes that I will email you right after we get off air, Danny, about the raids yesterday. Or you could just use my quotes from earlier in the show if you want to watch it on YouTube and just write those down. That would also be convenient. But no. So right on, man. What's going on? What's news? What are you guys getting ready for over at High Times?
Well, we're getting ready for Amsterdam Cannabis Cup. We're celebrating our 40-year anniversary. We had a party about a week and a half ago here in New York, and we also have a cool thing that we just unveiled. Basically, every issue of High Times magazine is available at covertocover.hightimes.com.
Yeah, I saw
Even
that.
the old originals.
All the way back to the first issue.
Wow.
You can preview the first issue there for free. And there's a number of other issues you can just take a look at, but it's something like $4.99 a month, and you have access to the entire archive for 40 years of issues.
That's cool.
So
That's sweet.
we're pretty excited about that.
I just like the
as
fact
well.
that you can zoom in on digital stuff. That's what's awesome.
I was going to say digitally remastered herb from the 80s. Like,
yeah, because now you can actually really get in there and check things out. Because in the back of the day, you're like, you never had that option. You know?
Right.
Now I'm all about it.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually I just turned in an article for our March issue on bubblegum, which I'm sure Adam can tell you guys all about.
We were talking about it this morning,
Interesting.
Danko. What's your article say?
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's a strain. It's obviously it's become a classic now. I can still remember, 20 years ago when it was winning Cannabis Cups, and it's still winning awards now.
Yeah. No, definitely one of those. It was one of those soldiers out there for sure. Like, it keeps on going and it keeps on winning. That's amazing. I think even we took something down in Spain or something with it, bubblegum recently, didn't we?
I think so.
Something.
Yeah. Cannabis. One of those
other cup style things.
yeah. So that's pretty exciting, and
nice.
So, and the photos are amazing. Greenborn Identity shot. Great version of those plants, and so that's pretty much our 40th anniversary issue, our top 10 strains. That's like what we've been working on lately. But that's what's going on at High Times.
Nice. Well, thank you for the update. The party was awesome, by the way. It got pretty hectic. I don't know if everyone got a cold there, but I got a cold there.
You got the New York version, New York version of the cannabis cough?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, that must be really deadly.
Exactly. The rooftop cannabis.
That's a hella deadly one right there.
Sour
Sour
cough.
cough.
Yeah,
Ooh,
exactly.
Sour cough.
I saw you there in the VIP room. That was very amusing.
Mike wants
when
to get the sour
The
cough.
door
He's like, I'm
opened
all
and we were
about it.
making
He's all
eye
about it.
contact. That was awesome. So, yeah, I want to thank you for coming on. I don't know. Like you
had a
said,
big
happy
question.
anniversary. What do I say back to
You had
that?
a
Like,
big
thank you, I guess, of course. Thank you for calling in, as always.
Yo, Danko.
Well, happy anniversary to you guys. 40th
Well,
anniversary.
yeah, there you go.
40th
Happiest
yeah,
anniversary to
reversal.
you guys. Back at you.
See?
I just wanted to say to Danny that in about 1977, High Times ran a big pile of our Thai sticks.
Nice. Well, now you need to get that.
Wow.
Join that
Yeah, we'll
membership.
get that
Get your
online,
photo credit,
Jim.
yeah.
Look up the year 1977, and I don't remember what month it is, but there's a big pile of Thai stick, and that came off the Central Coast in California from a group of surfers. Let's just leave it at that.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be really
Sounds
cool now
great.
with that, just to be able to go back, because there's so many people I know who have told me that they were in High Times back in the 80s or something. So now it's like you can just pull that up on your phone and be like, show me where
And
you're-
piece it together,
show me your
too.
garden.
You know?
Show me your garden.
Right on. Well, thanks as always for calling in, Danny. I'm going to be up your ass about getting those articles out there because I know the Black Dog Boys are listening, and I do want to bring that news out on the show, but they want it in the pages of High Times first.
Speaking of which, don't we need to do a sponsor shout out at some point?
We got it. Oh, no, it's up next. It's
Okay,
up
good.
next.
Good
Good.
job. Good job.
Yeah.
Segue.
Nice
We don't have
segue.
a timer, so.
No,
we don't
timer's
have timers.
broken.
We're timer free today.
Timer free.
We're winging it.
Well, I'm
So,
not-
Danny,
I'm not
again,
Ryan,
thank you
but-
as always for calling in,
Thanks,
bro.
Dan.
And we'll talk soon, man.
Yeah. Thanks
Big
for
it.
having me. Congrats on a full year, and I will keep listening.
Right on, bro. Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
Okay.
And Jim, always, we love talking to you. We got to do a whole episode with you and Mark, I think, is what we got to line up for season 2. How do you feel about that, man?
Great.
Sounds like a good idea.
All right, let's do it. It sounded like some think tanking was happening there.
there was-
like shit was getting figured out in 2 minutes. So
Well, you know, that's the other thing. They've kept us all divided for so long. You know, they put us all in a room and shit'll get done, and they're afraid of that.
Yeah.
well, that's what we're here to do, I feel like.
Well, thanks
You
for
know,
sharing
you want to solve the
knowledge.
problems of the world, put stoners in charge.
I'm
It's
with
starting
that.
to
That's
happen
what we're
slowly
doing.
but surely.
Right on, brother. Well, we'll talk to you soon, and definitely stay in touch, man.
Yeah, and happy anniversary to y'all. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thanks, Jim.
Bye,
Thank you very
Jim.
much.
We'll talk again soon, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Whoa, that was a big.
That
one.
was big.
exciting.
I-
That was like the voice of God.
All right, so
Voice of
Nicotimist,
God.
Danko called in. We're only down Nicotine. That's good. We're doing
Nick-
pretty good.
yeah,
We're
we did
4
pretty
for
well.
5.
4 for 5. 4 for 5. And if Nick,
All
if
right.
you're listening somewhere in
Please
Cali,
call in,
give us
yeah.
a call. We'll let
So
you
now
slide
let's
it in.
shout out Way to Girl for making this all possible.
Exactly. Thanks for making this 1 year
I
anniversary.
don't know why you're
possible.
taking the timer doesn't even work. You're
I
just
know,
looking at my
pretend-
locked phone.
Hey, come on, don't mess up my,
It
mess up my
looks
flow.
professional on the webcam.
Thanks for helping us out this whole year. 'Cause they were pretty much right on board with us
From the very
beginning.
start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and,
Before I was on, they were on.
Exactly. No, he was supporting us even when I was just rambling up here and forgetting even to do commercials, but like we're doing right now. But 6 locations all over Colorado. I was there yesterday at the Platte River picking up some stuff, and that place is getting jammed. They're starting to get jammed up with some stuff.
Are they using our codes? You said
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the best code you could hook up with,
I was,
right?
yeah, I didn't really do the double comparison. I didn't want to embarrass anybody with say, "Hey, my code, what's up?" But I used the Adam Dunn code myself, and it seemed to be pretty good.
Pretty generous.
Pretty generous, and I didn't need to pick up much. This was the first time I walked out not spending $1,000. I think. I think I spent $20. That was the cheapest I ever went up. But I was delivering hood lamb because if you need hood lamb clothing, you can also pick that up at Way to Grow.
And you can
too.
get a discount by. Is it a better discount by saying Adam Dunn Show at Way to Grow than using the TADS 420 code on the Hoodlam store?
I doubt it, but it could be close. You know, but in general, they definitely have a good selection of gear at all their shops, and I think all the staff's wearing their stuff, which is awesome.
That's nice.
They've all got the same gear that I was wearing. I was like, nice, looking
Everyone
good.
looks like me looking good.
Wherever
Looking good.
Crunchy went, he was still wearing the hood lamb, and
Does
it's
he have
like
the
90
bulletproof
degrees
on?
in here.
That's the thing about hood lamb. You can
So
wear
breathable.
them. People don't realize it.
Let me tell you this.
They don't
when
take it
I-
off.
When you gave me my first. Well, I see a lot of homeless people wearing them. And that, when the hand-me-down
Waytogrow.net, by the way.
Waytogrow.net. Because you say that's the thing to do with your old hoodlum is you give it to a homeless guy. So they're out there. And the thing is, they're so breathable. When I got mine, I tested that theory by taking a nap in it with under the covers with the heat on.
Who does that?
Aw.
Wow, you really.
It was winter. It was
you
cold
should be-
out.
Okay,
and it was
see.
fine.
And you were good.
Fine.
Yeah.
Slept not even like covered in sweat when I woke up.
Yeah.
because
No,
breathable.
it's definitely the best clothing for everywhere, but for Colorado it's unbelievable.
We're rocking it in New York City, bro.
Oh yeah,
I bet
New
it's
York,
great
New
in
York
the
kills
wet.
it.
We got you.
I know, no, for sure. We're hopefully spreading our wings a little further. You know, maybe there'll be a Hood Lab
Near
one
you.
day. What do you think?
I
about it?
remember when it wasn't in Colorado. It's already come so far.
Yeah, no. And quick other shout outs.
Of course, Incredibles.
Edibles.
Been holding us down for most of the year as
Also,
well.
same. They jumped on board
Yeah,
also right
pretty-
away.
pretty damn
and they're
early.
big Donovan fans, which is good. They're supporting.
Right on.
They're
They
supporting
are.
Mike.
Their
Yeah.
whole office is voter
Vote
frenzy.
Donovan.
It's
Yeah,
awesome.
nice.
they're going for it. And I think are they canceling the Makiva? Have we found out? Is that official?
I think that's official.
Man,
It's not like we know how many bars they really have anyway. We just
we do. We make
There's
it up.
one less than X-1.
We don't have Ryan, and we don't have to worry about that. But best flavors in Colorado. Every
Best
time I
bars
see
out
an ad, every time I see something about edibles, they're using their packaging too. It's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen so many ads or so many articles from news reports and scare things from. They use them all for the candy. Also, CB
Or,
Scientific. Could just give a quick shout out to those
Yeah,
guys
shouts to
for,
CB Scientific.
for
In the
making
news
headway
everywhere.
right after the show, of course, because that's what happens. You come on our show, and then
This is where you make
go
Breaking
global.
news.
This
And-
is that small room club of
and we
cannabis.
broke it. We broke the story, and then now look at it. Now they're just going. They're going crazy. No, but it went viral. That whole story about because of course anything with scare tactics and kids and
People don't know what you're talking
Halloween.
about.
They're always looking
there was
for that.
There was candy like
that
that.
quick story too. They
Like
love
what
that.
Murphy
Right around,
Murray
right
just
around
did.
Halloween, like
It's-
we need some quick
It's the
story.
anniversary feast.
The anniversary feast. Nice.
Except part of the feast was already.
But again, like we said, we'll just have to do the adult version of Halloween and do the Halloween,
Halloween.
and
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
goes. We can't steal the name now. Like, isn't that Jane's thing?
No,
Halloween party.
no. I mean,
think it's-
CC posted it
It's
on
been
our
done a million
Facebook
times.
today.
Oh well, Halloween has just been used a zillion times.
Let's
figure
buy
it
the
out.
Weed
domain
rhyme
and
with
then it's
weed? I
done.
don't even know that. I could never figure
It's assonance.
that. And Build a Soil.
Build a Soil, of course, holding it down now, well into season 2, and we're having more partners lined up.
I've been
dude.
using, and I just was using all their stuff. I've been using the soil mostly. That's the main part.
This
that-
weed was apparently grown Build a Soil.
Nice. And it's totally different. Like I told you before, it feels more minerally. You know, it has that more.
No, you're
mineral
talking about nectar.
Oh, we're talking about nectar. Sorry, we switched up.
Yeah, Build a Soil.
Oh yeah, Build a Soil. That's
We
right,
got to
duh.
talk to Build a
And we got to
Soil.
talk about nectar too, though.
Yes,
We
he's
haven't-
calling in
Is he?
at the
'Cause
end.
we haven't been shouting him out yet. That
I
much.
know,
And I want to.
I know you do
'Cause
because
it's so-
he asked me, and
But
I
Build
want
a
you to
Soil.
talk.
We can do a combo. They should do a collab.
Well, this herb
nectar
grown
of the-
by Snake Vitus, one of our listeners. Shouts to him for linking up with us
Super
before.
props, yeah.
Yeah, it's dank. It's all Bodhi Genetics. It's
Yeah.
been in my pocket for like a week.
and it's
so.
all Build a Soil.
Grown Build a Soil. Yes,
Nice.
sir.
We got a call. Call again.
Call.
Bring it in.
Bring it in. Yeah.
Oh, that smells good. Who we got on? Who we got?
Yo, what's up, guys? It's Chemdog.
Yo,
Hey,
Chemdog.
what's happening?
What up, buddy?
Chemdog's in the party too. So for the
Nice.
listeners
Good timing, man. Good
who
timing.
weren't
You're
listeners back then, new
impeccable.
listeners, this is the real deal. This is the guy who brought us all Chemdog. Chemdog brought to you by the man on the phone right
There's
now.
one of his pieces right there.
Yeah,
and
we're-
now
we're-
blowing glass.
We're
Well, Ben blowing glass.
We're rocking the little 10 milli you just gave me last week, brother.
10 milli.
Oh, is that Pinsky? That guy's, he's a clone, man. That guy's everywhere and everywhere and everywhere.
It really is. There's a few Pinskys.
Well, there is
I
a clone
think.
out there, but he's not old
It's-
enough yet. So
Yeah, that's true.
I've seen the clone.
Who
He's
else is out
cool.
there? Mitch
What-
out there? How you doing, Mitch?
I'm here, G. What's up?
Cool. Adam, how you doing?
Great. How you doing there?
P-Bud's
Good,
in
man.
studio.
We
Your
got
buddy
P-Bud.
P-Bud.
We got P-Bud here again.
What's up, what's up, P-Bud?
We got Strain Man in studio, and we got Rye Pritchard in studio.
And Mark.
And
man.
Mark, do you know Mark
Of course,
Sheldon?
for years, man.
Oh, okay, then Mark
Grateful
Sheldon.
Dead
Yeah.
family, bro.
Gee, what's happening, my man?
Dude, G
you doing?
and Mark know
Good
each
time.
other since before me and G know each other.
Really?
So let's
Okay.
just put shit into perspective,
Okay.
my friend. Okay. For
So,
real.
yeah, so a lot of your friends are here, man. Thanks for calling in, bro.
Looks like a sound booth at Wetlands,
It's
right?
the least I can do, man. A lot of good information came out of this show in the last year, so I hope you guys keep up with it. And
Well, we're glad to have you as a part of it. One thing that we really want to do, I don't know when you're able to travel again, but when that happens, we want to do a live
It'll be
event.
soon.
How soon will that be? Will that be by April?
Photo op.
as soon as I want to get my ass out there is what it boils down to. I can travel now. Let's just say
Really?
that.
Listen. We just had a whole long conversation about me trying to get him out with me for 20-year reunion to Amsterdam. And you know what? I think maybe we'll schedule a trip to Denver first and just kind of.
Well,
slow
I'm shooting
play it,
for
you know?
April. I'm shooting for April. I want to do a live event. I want to rent a venue. I want to have conversations with everyone. If you need to be behind a screen for any reason, whoever's involved in this, and I'm shouting this out to the people calling in today. I'm shouting this out to every guest we've had on the show that has gotten a good response, and everyone the listeners want to hear. Dude, I want to get everyone. I want to do a live event with a live audience, people asking questions, all in like a cool stadium or
Should
giant.
have like a town hall kind of.
Yeah,
you
where
know.
but where everyone can smoke is the key.
Well, yes, that's how
like a
town hall
panel.
should
I don't
be,
know.
But yes.
But
after Donovan's governor, we'll do it we'll do it at the state cap.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
So, Kem, can we get your commitment on that sort of thing?
Let's just say I can try to do it for you guys. Let's just say that. We'll leave it at that.
Right on, man. That's
Good
awesome.
answer. Good answer.
That's
my
awesome.
friend.
We'll take it.
Yeah. So, what's been going on with you, bro? How's things? How have you been doing since we last spoke on the show?
Everything's been good. It's been bad. Everything's great. Just trying to survive. Doing a little glass nowadays, and just till things start picking back up, there'll be eventually some good things coming out of the Chemdog camp soon, hopefully.
Nice. That's what we want. I think everyone's looking forward to. One thing that came up through our YouTube, I really wish I had it in front of me, was I have the email in my archive, and I hope I can get it. But a gentleman supposedly got in on the same packs that got sent to you and has some seeds that are supposedly somewhere in his house here in Colorado. And I can get
I heard about that story on there. I saw that. He's got to start looking for that shit.
Yeah, exactly. If you're listening, bro, I'll find your name.
Start digging that house apart, man. What the hell's the problem?
Yeah, you're sitting on a gold mine. I think that's pretty confirmed at this point.
Yeah, that's
Is that Rob?
okay.
Let me see. Yeah, Peabod, do you know about this?
Yeah, I know. I heard about it.
You know him, Peabod? Yeah, he's a good buddy. Hop on mic. Rob Carney.
He's got a really messy house. And,
do you know his house?
Yeah, he's been there since I moved to Crested Butte in '86, and he was there when I was there.
Oh, so
same
same
place. So,
wow.
Yeah, he needs to move out and,
good
find those.
luck on that one, tell him. But
Yeah.
So, all right, maybe these seeds won't be found. Maybe you have the only chems still. So we're definitely looking forward to what's coming from Chemdog family as far as genetics releases. Can you preview any of that, or do we have to wait?
Yeah, I think you have to wait.
It's going to be a little while before that all gets worked out. We're going to start with a whole. It's going to be in the works.
Well, that's something we'll definitely keep an eye on through season 2. And right now we got the glass to appreciate, and if for folks who haven't checked out the glass episode or haven't checked out Chemdog Glass, it's truly like a legit throwback. It's awesome. Now it's stepping up to I don't know. The first round of stuff was like right off lot, and it was a moment in time where you really can't get that glass anymore with that sort of skill and craftsmanship. And yeah, as you've gone into the mini oil rigs and bubblers, I think you can't get stuff like this anywhere else. It's very unique, unique.
Let me confirm
offerings.
something. So, all right.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate that.
No.
I actually had a package I was supposed to send to Mitch for some giveaways for your listeners, but
we'll do that for season 2.
That'll be a season 2.
Season 2, and we'll give. You know what? I'm going to give everyone the address at the end of the show to send us whatever they want, as long as it's nice. And if it's not nice, I don't know. That's not cool, man. but gee, I'll also message you the address.
Mitch, let me just confirm for you that this little 10-inch, 10 mil, right, Chemdog piece. With a quartz nail, right? It tastes awesome. I mean, like the rips that I was getting off of this with another product on the top that I was, it was a ceramic product, right? Had no comparison, right? When I put quartz on it and actually was able to do it at low temp, I mean, seriously. And I brought this piece in a mothership, and I'm rocking the Chemdog piece today for sure, man.
So,
that's a good
folks,
shout-out
check it out.
there.
Chemdog, where can people get at the glass if they're listening internationally? We shouts to our listeners, by the way, from the UK, Brody Mac. Shouts to you, and shouts to our listener from Germany who just called in. And
nice. There's an Instagram page.
Okay.
And that's the best way to do it. Or if everybody knows your coworker there that's there. He's
Yeah.
like the main glass guy.
Is that
Mr. Bike.
Pinsky?
Well,
Oh,
no,
Bike.
that's Bike.
Bike Hawley, guys. On Facebook, if
Bike
you're not
Hawley.
friends with Bike Hawley, Bike's like the real deal.
Yeah,
He's
I
my
think
official head class
I think
guy.
we'll have a website soon, G. You know, so we can do this for real.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
up?
yeah.
Cool. So
And we have a mystery guest in the studio
mystery
that doesn't want to be
guest.
all up on camera.
Oh, she's a mystery. Mystery.
Right on. Well, G, thanks for calling in, bud. We're gonna
We got AJ. We got AJ out there somewhere.
AJ's about to call in.
All right.
He's,
Tell them I said hi. I just spoke with them the other day, too. So
He's on
there'll
already?
be a lot of good stuff in the future. So I can say.
Nice, man. Well,
What's up? All right.
take care, bro.
Later, brother.
All right, you guys take care, man. Have a good day.
Thanks, man.
JJ.
JJ's calling in too. So we got AJ and JJ coming, and those are
East Coast
We
boys.
got
Pinsky,
AJ on the line right now.
talk
right?
about
Hold
the.
on. Hold on. AJ.
Oh, cool. AJ, you're on the line.
I'm on the line.
Yeah.
In the flesh.
Reel him in. Reel him in.
Erasmus High School, my friend.
So
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
so Pinsky, you threw a fancy dinner.
No, actually, AJ threw a fancy dinner.
AJ threw the
AJ
fancy dinner.
cultivated a really amazing thing on the 40th anniversary of High Times Cannabis Cup. There were some real badass legends that got together at Luger's, and you know, really, I was privileged to be in their company. Honestly,
So AJ, can you tell us about said fancy dinner, or is it super secret?
yeah, I don't know how much we can talk about it, but I mean,
Oh, so much shit went down with that.
Give a fancy rating.
Yeah.
I mean,
What did everyone order?
It was like a hybrid, Legends of Cannabis and Legends of Luger. So it was like a
Luger
dual
Legends.
celebration.
Nice.
That sounds pretty awesome.
So you're coming to town, huh?
Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow.
Wow.
Tomorrow morning.
Wow.
And you guys are throwing the Method Man Red Man show at the Ogden?
Well, I wouldn't say we're throwing it, but we're going to be throwing something around.
Right. So what's up with that? Can we tell people about that, or is that like we're not even allowed to know about it? We might hear about it.
Well, I'm really just involved with the private party afterwards, so I don't have much to do with the show itself.
Okay. All right.
Even better.
Yeah, but can we tell people? Can we invite our listeners to the party?
Ooh,
Is that, we don't have that many people.
I think on this show we just like have a lot of secrets
Just
for
throw them
everyone.
on the Adam Dunn Show.
There you go.
Yeah.
Angles. See how far that gets you.
Yeah. Say. Can we make it like a code at the door or something if
Adam
they find
sent-
out
Adam
about
sent
the
me.
party?
We bring back
You know
a
what?
handshake, you know?
I'll say this. I think I can say this. I think I can say that anyone who shows up with a smoke machine will be let in.
Yeah, leaf blowers.
Okay, can we talk about this battle, which you're going to get your ass kicked in?
The battle royale. Well, we have a time.
You're going down.
Bro, all right, let's set the parameter. So, for the listeners who don't know, Adam has his leaf blower that's evolved over many iterations, over many years. And it's a machine that fills a room with smoke from a massive bowl very quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to give any more details because I don't want to give a competitive. I want to retain our competitive
keep the
advantage.
edge. Keep the edge, exactly.
Because you've never seen it, right, AJ?
Oh, we've seen it. But
I've seen a video of it.
Oh, well, we've seen some pictures of yours.
Yeah,
I haven't
bro.
seen a video of yours
we
yet.
sized you up.
You haven't seen the video? You got to Google Hot Box Time Machine.
There you go.
On YouTube, or check it out on YouTube, and it's up.
Okay.
What was the name of it again?
Our production value is a little bit better than yours.
That's true. That's true. But mine was old. Mine is old,
The
and
true test is coming.
that's right. That's right. I may have to amp mine up a little bit then too. So now you got me
Yeah.
nervous. Now
Or
you're
just
nervous.
don't
you
burn
gotta-
us on the
You gotta go
anniversary
get your
show.
tools out.
I will. I will.
We're tuning it
Set it
up.
up.
We're ready for the battle. Is that on in 2 days? Is
It's
this
on. It's
we
on.
should get the cameras rolling. Is
Oh, there'll be
Josh
lots of
here?
cameras. There'll be lots of cameras.
No, get the because we have the
Cameras
high
aren't gonna
pressure
do you any
tune-up.
good.
Yeah, high
You're not
pressure
gonna
too.
be able to see anything.
Oh no.
That's-
No, yeah, that's
we
the best
know,
part about
that's
it.
what we've
That's
done
the best
this.
part about it is like
We
you-
think.
you
So
get
what's
like-
the battle? Are we seeing which one goes for longer? Which one smokes the room out better? What are we doing?
the betterest?
I think we're just gonna turn them both on at the same time.
We can't see the crowd. We can't do like a crowd thing where we say like raise your hand and tell us who's the winner because we can't see the crowd. So it's gonna be one of those. It's gonna
You
be
know
very-
what? At some point, we just got to open the doors and air it out, and we see which side has the most people still standing on it, and that person's the loser.
Ooh. Or everyone go to the side of the room you think was the. I don't know. It's gonna be a tough one to compete with, but whatever. Well, everyone's a winner. You know that.
If it's anything like the test run, everyone's just going to run for their lives as soon as these things get going.
Right.
Oh, he's had one test run. A little confident off of one test run, buddy.
I know. Yeah. Well. Well, it's okay. We know. We already know your. We already know your Achilles heel. I won't mention it on the air, but
Yeah.
we've already got it figured out. So, good luck. Good luck there, Rainbow Bright.
Don't fuck with the rainbow tank.
All right, the Rainbow Tank is on blast officially. Do we have JJ calling in? I think. Peebo's checking his phone. 12. It's 12:48, man. I'm trying to get him and AJ on the line together. So, what? How long are you in town for, AJ?
God, a long time. It's gonna be about 10 days.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
and then I believe you're heading to Europe. I would say.
And I'm going to Europe. Yeah.
Yeah,
Gonna go-
nice.
Some of the homies are going to be holding it down in Amsterdam.
Can we get you on the show next Wednesday? A week from today, you'll be here, right?
No, you won't still be here, will you? That
You
would be
said 10 days.
10 days. Oh
I
man.
will be there. Yeah.
Wow,
I will
this
be
is
there. I'll
that's
be
a very
around.
long time for AJ anywhere. Actually, if I see you everywhere, you're like 3 minutes in a spot. You're already like, all right, let's go. Let's go to the next spot. So 10 days is a long time in one state.
So yeah, can we get you on?
Oh yeah. Well, you're coming. That's it. You're on.
Yeah.
You're on the show. We already scheduled you.
Yeah.
I hope you're not busy.
Yeah. Next Wednesday, 1 week from today, you're on.
I've never been to one of these cups before, so you know.
Listen,
I'm excited for that.
we'll
Oh, it's a secret cup again?
No, he's going to the cup in
we're
Amsterdam.
We're doing
Oh,
the
you're going to
cannabis
Amsterdam?
cup.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
Cup.
we're doing the cannabis
It's
cup.
pretty cool. You'll have more fun coming
And
on
they
the
have
show.
to go
though.
now. Jesus Christ, you guys! I don't. You're trying to pull me back.
I mean, I try to.
Yeah.
Every time I try to get you, keep pulling me back in.
That's it. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean,
How does it compare to the cup out here, though?
it's a tiny little event compared to the cup out
I
here.
haven't been in 20 years,
Yeah,
man.
it's
I mean,
still small.
My
I mean, it's
first
gotten-
cup was 94, but
The
this
cup
I think it
cough is
caps-
very different because it's got international germs.
Yeah, you got germs from all over the
So
world in one
a
spot.
lot of those more avian flus, which you
there,
don't usually
like,
get in the domestic
vaccination
mix of
required?
germs.
The thing is, it's usually cold. It's usually wet. It's usually kind of difficult to get from A, B, C, D.
And you're walking in
And
the
you have to
rain a
get-
lot.
yeah,
There's
you-
a lot of walking in the cold rain.
You
You
gotta
got to
bring your
prepare
hood
for
on.
that, and
Rent
then
a
a
bike.
lot of Japanese flu.
Rent a
Okay.
bike first.
So
thing.
not everyone's gonna love this, but I have to ask because it's just. I'm from Utah, and these things are strange to me. What's the juggalo ratio at the Cannabis Cup?
It's very low.
No
juggalos. No,
juggalos.
juggalos don't
There's
travel
like-
that
You'll
far.
get one
I
like
imagine
juggalo,
Europe
but they're
is a
blinged out.
classier place to a certain degree.
Yeah,
You know.
much less juggalos.
Much
Worse
less
food.
juggalos. Worse food. Oh.
Pretty
Less
bad.
juggalos.
Thai food every night, just about. What do you got?
Did you say worse food?
Depends where you go. Don't eat the Dutch food.
Dutch
don't
food
don't.
sucks.
Yeah, that's like eating English food. Eat the immigrant food.
It's no New York, that's for sure. You're gonna eat only Thai food, Indonesian
I was
food,
gonna
all
say,
the.
isn't
It's
there
like New
been-
York. You
know
only eat
what?
like Italian. You don't
I
eat
get
like American
Oceana
food.
every night when I'm in Amsterdam.
So we have another caller on the line. Do we have JJ?
No, sorry, boss. It's just Sonny. I had a question for AJ.
Oh,
My
yeah.
apologies.
Yeah,
No
no.
problem.
Go ahead.
Hey, AJ, what's your feelings on people working with the cut that you have at this time, as we all know, as AJ Sour? Do you have, any opinion on people still breeding with the cut outside of the family?
I mean, it's there for everyone to use, isn't it? I mean,
Yes, but I still thought that
if it bothers me, it doesn't. No.
No, that's kind of what I was asking. Do you see it as a compliment, basically, that people respect the cut and what you found?
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I
That-
mean,
we'd like to get that.
It's it's pretty cool. It's pretty. I mean, I could have foreseen many years ago that she was going places.
Yeah, well, it's always nice to see your name on, like when you see a news report and you see the name of your strain on it. Like,
On the
I'm always
jar,
stoked. I'm
yeah.
always like, yeah, I got in there.
Do we have another
I'm
caller
so
on?
blessed to have the sour cut, AJ.
You know what?
I finally got it, and I'm blessed.
Right on.
It's not as flattering as when I make the news for waiting online to see Neil Diamond.
That's right, buddy. We killed it, dude. We killed it. Let him know. Let him know.
Thank you so much for answering my question on that. It just was kind of a curiosity. I just really respect you guys. Bike, thanks for everything. Love my Chemdog mini tube. T-Bud, you're always the truth, and I love you guys.
Thanks, bro.
Right on. Thanks for
Good
listening,
shit.
man. Thanks for calling in.
Hey,
We got another
thanks.
call?
I'm going to get back offline and let you guys chat. And thank you for letting me call in, brothers.
Yeah,
No
thank
problem.
you.
We have another caller still, or no? We lost him?
Yeah.
We lost him.
Oh, I think we maybe had JJ. We'll see. Call back if you had just called in, please.
JJ, call on back.
Yeah. So, AJ, we had a question for you. Do we still have AJ on the line?
Of course.
Yes. Okay. So, we still were so confused as to where Sour Diesel came from. Right, Pritchard? Right? We thought it was that dude Weasel, right? And then AJ said absolutely not. That's what he said in text.
No.
Okay.
It was the Weasel.
It was him. But
we just don't want to promote him. We just don't want to promote it.
He's not the sort of person who we want to promote.
No, it's not that. It's that I just that if you ask him, he'll tell you that it was this mixed with that, mixed with this, mixed with that. But if you look at the timeline, there wasn't a lot of time to make all those crosses. And I think that with the advent of genome mapping, what it actually is will be determined in the future. So, can anyone say matter-of-factly what it is? No.
If we compare it to the parents, we can.
Can we assume that it's NC Super times 91? Yes, I think so.
Right. Which seems pretty accurate.
So
if I had to bet on it, that's what I would say it is. That's
so
what
are we gonna
assumed it was.
Can we? Is there any way we could convince Weasel to admit that, or that's not going to happen?
You got to be at the Luger dinner, bro.
Everyone has their own interpretation of what happened in the past.
Right.
But because a lot of things were going on in my life at that time, I have a pretty clear timeline in my head of when it came about and what was going on at that time, because I was following it very closely, always marking the calendar and waiting for, everything, things to arrive. So
cool. I think we got JJ on the line.
I've always been pretty clear. It's always been pretty clear in my mind what it was.
Right on. And I think
nobody can say for sure. I can't say matter of factly. Only science can determine that.
We're going to find out in the genome test, I believe. And I think we also have JJ on the line. Is that correct? Hello? Do we have a third caller?
Yeah, this is JJ.
JJ.
JJ, what's going down?
What's up?
It's Luger dinner all over again.
Well, without the steak.
Minus steak, exactly.
Oh, you guys can eat steak.
We got edibles here. We got lots of edibles.
That was a little more than an $800 meeting, my friend.
I bet.
I bet.
So we were just talking with AJ about the actual genetic identity of Sour Diesel, which was kind of thrown back to one of our earlier shows this year. We also want to check in what's up with you, what's up with TopDawg Genetics, and a question that we had off the last show, right? So the introduction of the DAWG really started with your genetics that you put out. That's where that shift happened. Is that roughly correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay.
And I did that really just to distinguish myself from everybody else.
Right, you did it to make it yours. So everyone who's biting that is biting you specifically, not Chemdog himself.
There you go.
That's right.
So mystery's getting solved on the 1 year anniversary.
Scooby Doo all over again.
That's what we like to think of
Happy
ourselves.
anniversary, by the way.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. We think of ourselves as the Scooby Doo of the herb.
The mystery machine.
So, by the way, Dave Richards, if you're calling, call in, buddy. If you're listening, rather, please call in. If you holler in the chat room if you need the number or anything. Or for anyone else, it's 720-381-1420. If you want to call in and talk to AJ and JJ. So, JJ, what's going on with TopDawg? We have a bunch of Stardog phenos here that are pretty nice.
Yeah, right now I'm trying to move into the more legal aspect of things. I'm not working right now, but most of these things were done, from the last breeding. There was a lot of the purple phenos were coming out of the last.
So there was a purple phenol here, and Adam was like, "No way, that can't be." But it's confirmed there is a purple pheno, and Adam's just off, not on top of
I'm
it.
out of date.
Out the loop.
I was like, wait a minute, it's usually really bright.
Yeah, we got it right here. I don't know if you're watching on camera.
There it is, right there.
Super purple. Here, I'll put my flashlight on it so everyone can see. So when were those coming out?
Right, got all of that.
I had those. I released them probably over a year and a half ago. Like I said, I'm not working now, but I'm working towards getting into the legal aspect of things, hopefully. And once I'm trying to make a move, and once I get established, I'll be getting the seed production going again. But as of right now, we're just trying to sort things out, and we're on some downtime right now.
So, are you planning to bring in any new genetic lines to work with, or bringing back some of the old stuff? What's the plans for when you do get back? Going to figure it out when you get there?
Yeah, well, for sure I'll bring back, all the classics, the Star Dog, the Trey Dog, the White Dog. I have the Nigerian, which not a lot of people know about.
Love the Nige.
Everyone, AJ can tell you. And,
Pinsky can tell you, man.
A few of the other people that have seen it can tell you that's going to be the next winner for us.
Serious.
We haven't really done much work with it, but it's in the family, and we just got to, get the facilities to start working again, and we're going to make all these genetics available to everyone again.
Well, what you should talk to us about Colorado.
Well, we'll show you how we do
the
things
land of
on
promise.
the East Coast, my friend.
Right. Well, we're going to be coming out there real soon and spending some time and looking into all the possibilities and see if we can find a fit out there. And if we can, we'll definitely make the move. We're talking to some people in Seattle as well. We haven't gotten any concrete offers or anything, so we're just playing the field right now and seeing what's going to be the best move overall for us.
Well, I think a lot of people are looking forward to getting those genetics back in play, back in the field, and I know I am.
We're trying to regroup. We're trying to get a group together that's going to include myself, AJ, Chemdog. Hopefully, we want to get P-Bud and the Chem Father. If we could all, get the original Chemdog crew together, I feel that, we'll be a force that's going to be unstoppable.
That's for sure.
I think that's a big move that I guess someone had to say after having all you guys on. It's good because I think all you've been on the show today. So
more to come, coming soon.
Yeah, so that's everyone can look forward.
And we're fielding offers, so feel free to make them.
Yeah, come pitch it on the show, guys. I think we can help you out in that direction. Rye Pritchard, as a cannabis historian in the Peanut Gallery, rarely do I address the Peanut Gallery, but how excited are you about all this?
I know we're excited. I know you've been talking a little bit to Tierra Rojo, and we're excited to have you guys come through. And we've been running a bunch of the Star Dogs, and they're amazing. So we're looking forward to seeing all the genetics come back and see you guys do a lot of work with a lot of those cuts. And I want that. We need that Giesel out here. That's what we really need.
Yep. Yeah, we do.
Right. Well, I'm sitting on a genetic library. I just went through it the other day, and I counted more than 100 crosses that I have that have just been sitting, in the vault. And once I get under the right circumstances, I'm going to be breaking out everything I have. So, I'm really looking forward to opening up the library and see what other things are, what other gems are yet to be found.
Yeah, we're definitely psyched to see how East Coast does it out here. Honestly, shake things up and bring back some of the flavors that a lot of us who have transplanted out west have remember fondly.
Well, I think it's also important that those of us that have actually been doing this shit for decades, you know what I mean, and there were always barriers between us, And now a lot of those walls are coming down, and it's cool to hang out, and people realize that it's more important for us to kind of band together and do the right thing. And it's like my first T-shirt, right? No douchebags, right? I mean, it's not like they're not going to infiltrate, right? They will, but just we don't need to work with them if we don't, if we can keep our shit together.
And that's kind of what the show's all about too. It's the Scooby-Doo thing plus the banding together. I mean, like. That's inadvertently we put this whole lineup on our show. I literally knew nothing about all you guys working together, and that's, we try to be the crossroads for cannabis, and we're blessed to have legends like yourselves in our midst, and and like Adam. I got to take a moment to appreciate Adam on the 1 year anniversary of the show.
Happy anniversary.
While he's playing with his phone. Yeah, dude. Happy
he's being Adam. It's the Adam Dunn Show.
Bubbleman he's producing. There he goes.
Bubbleman's trying to call in. He said he got a message, so...
Well, Bubbleman, try again, Canadian phone service.
Calling again now, he says, so we got him.
A moment to appreciate
that was my segue.
Adam.
Well, thanks, guys.
Yes.
Because you knew all these people before I met any of them.
Good. We got
Independently,
Bubbleman
yeah?
Yeah. And it was, I was like, I always tell everybody that Amsterdam was the cannabis funnel, and I lived at the bottom of the funnel at the CIA, and everybody just dropped into my spot like one after another. It'd be like, hey. And then the coincidences that happened in that place were unbelievable. It was like people walked in and had like either, they turned like white as a ghost, see somebody they haven't seen in 15 years, thought they were dead or something. They used to smuggle back in the day or something. And it was just crazy stuff that happened. I mean, people came through all the time. And it's where I met, it's where I met AJ. It's where I met Jason Harris, all the glass blowers back in the day when they first, it was just 93. So it's kind of nice just to be at that time period. It was like the early 90s were special.
I sent Jason out to you.
Exactly. See, there you go. I was like one big fan. And then when
he went from my sofa to you.
Perfect. Exactly.
Like, I'm sick of you.
There you go. Exactly. So no, but it was that classic time period where it was like things were going on in the East Coast, things were going on in the West Coast, things were going on in Amsterdam, and they were all independent, but then they were all like crossroads at some point. And that's what we're doing here.
Well,
yep.
I hope that it goes in a circle, right? Like Amsterdam started with being really open about it, so people were able to push their genetics, get better, and so everyone talked about it being the best stuff. And then California kind of got ahead of the pack, pretty quickly when they were able to, go outdoor and go huge.
Right.
And then we took those strains, brought them into Colorado, and everyone talked about how much better it was because
More-
we grew it here. So
or
in
regulated
the East
more
Coast,
and got it figured out.
like you got to be even better than that because it's going
Sure.
to make its way all the way back to Amsterdam.
Well, the one good thing about the East Coast is the fact that out of all the people that were there, whenever like I would come back into town, I mean, I ended up on JJ's house with Pig and Rick. You know what I mean? Like the same people were all at your dinner, and it was like none of them knew each other at that point. Well,
Right.
JJ obviously knew everybody, but they didn't know each other at that point, and it was just kind of like, oh. Out of all the places in New York, we ended up at the same place to score some weed. It's like, come on.
Yep.
The cream rises to the top, as they say.
But I feel New York, we're leading the world in genetics right now. It doesn't seem like there's anyone in the world that can top us. I'm not bragging or anything, but I've sat on that.
I don't know.
Weirdly enough, on radio, it comes across as bragging.
People love to tell us how much good stuff they have.
Amsterdam, they've gone to California, they've gone to Colorado. And as soon as they get back, the first thing they say is, I couldn't wait to get back to New York to smoke some good weed.
I think it's the bacteria again. I think we're back to the same.
Yeah, it's like the
same-
bagels.
It's like the bagels.
It's the bagel
It's like the
bacteria.
bagels, 'cause-
It's got to be the bagel bacteria.
You know what it is? This is what it is. New York gave us an opportunity
Hold on a sec. We
to
got.
have a boutique
Hold
market
on.
where people were willing to pay more for quality, whereas in California, Colorado, and Europe, people wanted quantity, not quality. There wasn't a market for high quality. People didn't want to pay more than a certain price. In New York, they would pay anything as long as it was extremely good. And so people were willing to pay more here. It established a market where we could provide something better and actually get paid for the extra work it took to get there.
Yeah, you created pot snobbery.
Yeah. You guys established pot snobbery. I got to
for
give you guys a
raising
copy
our
of my
prices
book.
Forever after.
So we got Bubbleman on the line too here. So let's jump him in because he was being.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting. I only wanted to answer that I find the best wherever I go. Funny enough,
Isn't it amazing?
it
Well,
melts
'cause
into
you
a
have-
liquid. It drips through the screen, and it's just a matter of sometimes people they go somewhere and they say, oh, they don't have the best, and I say, are you sure maybe you didn't just find the best?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can always, or you can do like yourself and just go there and make the best. That's always the best part. That's
That's what I do everywhere I go. So, but the material is always amazing. Is what I'm sort of saying is that I've always found that wherever I go, if you find the right passionate people, like the gentleman was talking about, who are really willing, not to pay, but really willing to put the work in as a passion, it usually pays off in the end with a beautiful, top quality product.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of thing about this. One great thing about the whole industry here is so many people jump in, don't realize, think it's easy money, quick, screw all up, and don't get it, and they move on to something else. And then the people who grind away and make mistakes and then keep continuing and scratching their head, figuring it out, and move on. After a certain point, it's like the aha moment. They got it, they dialed it in, and then they're on the road. And the next person comes in, spends a bunch of money. Those lights are sitting, holding a door open later or something like that, and then you're just like,
They're on Craigslist, yeah.
There's plenty of that out there. So the numbers drop quick.
Consider that just utility and real estate prices alone in New York are so much exponentially higher than everywhere else that the only way to feasibly succeed in New York would be to do something that was of extremely high quality, because there was no way really to produce quantity in a reasonable way here.
Sure.
It's always about small quantity.
That's kind of a great economic
I can
point.
attest that here in Vancouver in the 90s that all the best weed went to Manhattan because they were paying the highest dollar right here in town, while other people were trying to grind down to 3,000 Canadian a pound. These guys would come in and pay 3,500 to $4,000 Canadian a pound because they were taking it back to Manhattan and getting 6,800 US.
Yeah,
it was still BC,
Well,
but
yeah, that was Beasters.
That was
Yeah.
Beasters, though. I mean, like,
15,000 a
let's
pound
get
in
it straight.
Manhattan for a local or regional.
Unbelievable.
Hey,
It's just always a
Bubbleman.
different market.
Bubbleman, I have a question for you. Can you break down the different alleged grades of Beasters I've heard about? In New Jersey, we called it Beasters.
It's just a matter of how many A's there are on it.
You know what? Beasters sort of came around a little bit after Breeder Steve turned the Vietnamese on to growing. They dropped the heroin trade like a cold turkey, and they just picked up growing herb. And the Vietnamese were able to grow herb on a level that Caucasian people didn't seem to pull off it. They would, 20 of them would just put hundreds of lights down, and when they first started doing it, they were growing really great weed. It was surprising. You could get a 100-pack of the grapefruit, and it was just beautiful herb. That herb eventually they just stopped. They just started cutting it down early, letting it, never curing it, letting it sell wet. And between that and people that were coming, buying huge amounts of pounds and bouncing them over screens before they sold them, those were the two main types of beasters.
Yeah, that really killed
And
the
I think
market.
that most of those Vietnamese were actually slaves. That's why it was so easy to produce it.
They
So
never
the-
smoked well. I mean, they were always like
Oh, for sure,
like
for
the
sure.
You have
hardest-
to put it in a blunt.
And they
Yeah,
definitely did not
obviously.
hire an electrician ever. That was for sure. All they did was buy. They should have had extension cord, like pallets, just pallets of them. Because if you go in, you'd see like extension cord into extension cord into extension cord, like all
Well,
around.
because what happened was initially it was only organized crime in Vietnamese culture that was growing this plant, and then they knew how to do it because they just buy all the right equipment and they didn't care. Money wasn't a problem. But when all of a sudden the rest of the Vietnamese community was like, "Oh, we can do this too,"
Yeah.
that's when you started getting all the extension cord and the Dong Show basically.
Exactly. No. And like
And
that.
I don't think they dropped the heroin trade. I think the heroin was just going in the opposite
The ones
direction.
that were here in Vancouver, they dropped the heroin trade because it was just, and I'm talking about a small group of them that actually started the growing here. There was probably about 4 main guys, and they were just so happy that they didn't have to have armed guards and, gangster guys with guns and stuff. They just found the ganja business to be a breeze compared to that business.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. One would expect. I hope.
Well, that's what you'd think, yeah. So that was what was going on in Vancouver in the late 90s anyway.
Thanks for clearing that up for me. That's one of the mysteries I've never. It's never been important enough to ask, but now I know. Now I know where it started. Some Vietnamese grandma grew something that got shipped and dropped.
The first year they were growing at them, it was really, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I brokered cannabis at the time, so I would see hundreds and hundreds of pounds of this herb, and every time you saw it as a broker, you just couldn't help but go, holy fuck, ching, yeah, I'll take it.
Right. No, they had to dial it
And
first.
then for a year, and then that was it. Then it was like, oh my God, stop showing me this. This is embarrassing.
Was it the demand, though? Because, like in Colorado, a lot of medical cannabis started out pretty decent, years ago, and then the demand caused everyone to stop curing it, cutting it early, and not caring anymore. Is that, or was it just
I
the
think
cost?
so, yeah. I think the prohibition-based model of how we sell cannabis and how we price cannabis had a lot to do with it.
Got another call?
Yeah, I believe we have Scott from Nectar on the line. Is that correct?
You could stay on there.
Nice. So we can shout out to you guys. This is I don't know if you guys are hip to Nectar for the Gods, but they are our newest sponsor, and Strain Man is in studio thumbing them up. We can't show him on camera by previous agreement, but he's a
I
huge
was just
supporter.
shocked to find that information out just now. Like, I was just surprised
That he's
was the
Strain Man?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, so Nectar is Adam's been working with it. Now it's time for him to tell us.
Well, yeah. I mean, I haven't been working with the full line. Like I told Scott, I think on the phone, I talked to somebody. Basically, I've just been working with the soil, but I'm loving it. It's like night and day comparatively because I have them half on one and half on my old run, and it's just like, wow, it's very minerally. It has much more of a vibe to it than a lot of the barky stuff you get. Yeah, a lot of the stuff you get is real barky, and just it doesn't
Like
seem
chunky.
right. Chunky, barky, and like a lot of cocoa core and all that crap. I don't really like any of that.
The filler.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, so I'm loving it. My mom is loving it. That's more important actually than
She's
she's way more important than me. So yeah, Mom is loving it.
I got
Well,
some
we
of the
appreciate
magnetic
the
rock,
feedback.
and I loved that. I used it I had to repot a bunch of cactuses, and I got some of the magnetic rock from Mitch, and they're quite happy with it.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Now the guy.
You
Now I
put
had
the
a quick.
yin and the yang together with the paramagnetics.
I had a quick question though too on the soil itself is because I got that Herculean harvest which was the liquid bone meal. So my mom was at Chlorophyll talking to Bo and Lee over there, and they had said like not to use it with their food because they thought it was going to attract too many salts. So it's kind of like the same problem, reversal of what you were saying. So I wasn't sure. I was like, ooh, gotta ask the man himself.
Ask the pro.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So using our bone meal with what product?
From Millennium.
From Millennium, and it would attract salts? Or
Well,
tie
yeah.
up salts?
Yeah, it would tie them up, I guess, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, chemistry is kind of a tricky thing when you're starting to blend all these.
We have
together.
our chemist in
Our
the room
chemist thumbs
says
up.
yes. Double
Yes.
thumbs up with a big smile.
Makes sense. Okay, good.
So,
Yeah.
So, but that's that's what you
we
want to do.
promote for people. What's that?
I mean, that's what you want
You want
to
to
do.
tie
though.
them up and then flush them out, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's it. Most of your salt-based nutrients don't have a natural form of calcium in there. So, what we promote for people is not mixing it in with a Millennium, a pure blend, a GH type of 3-part, but instead doing like 3 feedings in a row with your line,
Yep.
and then just giving them a Herculean flush to tie up excess salt.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Invite the calcium into the root zone, and then your microbial field can break those calcium molecules down and deliver throughout the next 3 feedings.
Right. No, I understand that. That's good. Cool.
That's-
All right.
yeah,
what I
that's
thought.
exactly-
That's kind of the way I thought. I think maybe they might have misconstrued the idea and thought I was going to try to throw it into the mix, but I was.
And that's a big point for Nectar. I think for everyone is that the way that the line works, it really introduces a lot more calcium. That results in what you've seen, Adam, even in the soil, is the thicker stems, right?
Ridiculous.
Right. That's the first thing you remarked on.
Oh,
Asparagus-sized
all
seedlings.
your
I was
stems
just
should
like,
always
oh
be
my
solid.
god,
They should have rings like
what is
trees,
going
not
on
hollow
here?
straws.
Sorry, I'm sorry. We can hear what you said.
Oh, I said, the beauty of calcium is you should always end up with a solid stem and not straw-like stems.
Mhm.
And that's what you're getting from calcium load, especially in the soil. There's 2 pounds of bone meal in each bag of that number 4 soil. So
Wow.
you're getting in excess of tons of calcium phosphate, and then we also put in the calcite to buffer out all the salts from cocoa fiber.
So, I mean, and throughout your line, you kind of have different little. It can be used. I mean, obviously, best used as the Nectar line, and we do want to do a giveaway of one of those full line starter kits that you gave us with your permission. We have them here.
Absolutely.
All right. So if any caller wants to call in for the Nectar for the Gods starter kit, it's the full 7-part line, I believe 8-part line.
Yeah, you get 8 in that.
8 in that, and you can try it in supplementation. And obviously, Nectar is available to speak with. Well, you can get Scott. You can get. Can we talk to other people from the company? Not right now, but in general.
I'm the only guy talking to anybody.
Well, then you go. So you talk to
You
Scott.
talk to me.
He's the guy, and he can help you incorporate it into your line as he just did with us here. He can teach you about what's different about it, what makes it work, how it works.
Do you guys distribute in Canada?
The agricultural department in Canada does not like U.S. bones, so we are back and forth with proof of where our bones come from. Eventually, they will accept it, but I don't blame them. But they are not allowing us to register our bone meal products up into Canada.
And
without
finally,
that,
a
it's
Halloween
a blank line.
tie-in. Talking
bones?
Yeah, we're talking about where our bones come from.
Halloween.
Woo, we had nothing going on for Halloween.
None of us dressed up. We're pretty lame. We're pretty lame like that.
We blew it.
We had some like comical plans that
We had
we're
ideas.
never going to
We
follow
had
through
ideas.
with.
That's what usually
Well,
happens.
we have the beard. Everyone dressed up for it.
Right. Everyone who hit the beard pipe. So, New York boys, we got to get you guys linked up with some Nectar for sure. I think seeing that great archive of genetics grown in some calcium-loaded soil would be a good experiment. What do you think, Pinsky?
We'll talk. We'll talk
in New York voice.
We'll talk.
Send us some.
Send us some. Well, you guys come out here. We have it. We have it at the base. We'll come talk about it at our home base.
People in the chat room are agreeing.
I can send it to you directly.
Oh, there you go. We can link you guys
They
up
love
there.
it.
Everyone's loving it in the chat room, so
Absolutely.
there you go. In the next.
Over 2 other nutrient lines.
Yeah,
Damn.
everyone's and I mean,
Even
like
the
I said, this
paranoid
is
ones.
nectar grown herb right here.
It's working.
It's really it works, and this is solid
doing
nuts.
its job.
It's doing
Oh,
its
yeah.
job.
How'd you like the Michigan boys?
The Michigan boys, I gotta be. Once it cured out to Colorado moisture levels, took like one night. I left my tackle box open, and then the smell came out a lot more Colorado. I don't know if my nose is just adjusted to Colorado. It had a little Michiganiness to it.
It was very Michiganish at
You
first,
know,
but
it
then
was
it's,
like
but then it's separated.
It's separated
We call-
magically.
we call that in New
fractionated.
York. We call it Michigana.
It's Michiganish. Michigan.
Michigana.
So, yeah, we got really good. I mean, I was impressed. I think some of it was his like unique crosses, and those were pretty impressive. And then even like the stuff we knew, like the Scots OG and the Rugburn OG, like we know those strains extremely well.
Yeah.
And they were just great representations. It was almost the density was really good. It was almost more dense than most organics.
Well, that's the beauty of calcium is you're filling all those cells with a rock molecule versus a water molecule. So at the end of the game, you end up with a lot less evaporation and a lot more density and oil production.
And that's exactly what we're all shooting for too. I mean,
And-
people don't get it sometimes that bigger buds don't necessarily mean bigger weight. You know, you can have denser.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
It's
all about
into the industry.
right.
They're focused on the wrong weight.
Exactly. It's the yeah. It needs to be grams of resin per or resin per pound or
Rather than leaf per pound, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and
AJ and
active
JJ, while we have you guys on the line, I just had a really good idea because we only have 10 minutes left on the show. And this is a great time to discuss it. We talked with Chemdog about coming out here and doing the live show. Pinsky's looking at me like he wants me to go talk to him, so I'll talk to Pinsky directly, your agent. I'll speak to your manager. Pinsky, can we book them all out here for the Adam Dunn Show live event?
I mean, like, there's definitely a collaborative effort.
Okay, can we
that
get
needs to
everyone
happen.
involved?
Yeah. so
Yes.
We can.
Promises to in front of everybody. In
Yeah, I
front
mean,
of-
shit.
in front of the world.
If we could make an event where we can all get together, I mean, who wouldn't want to do that?
Exactly. That's what we're
Seems like a
talking
no-brainer
about.
to me,
And we'll talk to Nectar, obviously. We'll involve Nectar for the Gods. We want to involve our whole sponsor lineup obviously take care of all our VIPs and, help us make this event happen and make a more tangible presence for everyone. And that brings us to saying thank you to the callers and getting to our last 10 minutes of the show and wrapping up the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So thank everybody for calling in, both listeners and guests alike. Is everyone hopping off? Is that what's going on, Chris? We have another caller. Bring him in. I don't know who the hell it
Pile
is.
them on. Yeah.
Who we got on there? Who we got on
Yeah,
the line?
who was on the line?
Oh, this is Jesse.
What's happening?
What's going on, man?
Hey, man, I heard you guys were giving away some Nectar of the Gods.
It works.
Segue.
We have some reads. Yes.
Sounds awesome.
We would love to give you some nectar for the guys. Do you follow us on any of our social media?
Just on Cannabis Radio and Facebook here.
Okay, cool. If you're on Facebook, send a message to the Adam Dunn Show Facebook page. And, holler in.
And what's your Facebook name? There's,
Yeah,
we don't
we
get some
need-
other. We don't want anybody randoms kind of.
True that. We don't want anyone stealing your
I'll
spot.
be under my girlfriend's name, and her name is Amy Goodry.
Amy Goodry. Okay.
Amy Goodry.
So we don't have somebody like 19 people
Good
who try
idea.
to claim it. So
Good idea.
Cool. So private message us in Facebook, and we'll definitely link you up with a whole kit.
Yeah, where are you based out of, man?
Where are you based?
I'm in Montana.
Cool. We'll get Nectar to send it to you directly.
Awesome.
Right on. Sweet.
Awesome, you guys. Awesome. Hey, thanks. Congratulations on the 1 year, you guys. You guys
Yeah,
are
man.
Awesome. I'm learning on so much from you guys, and I appreciate everything.
Thanks for listening.
guys.
And,
Yeah.
and again, the best thing
Montana
you
on the
guys
map.
can do, Montana on the map. Nice. We need a big map that we can
We
put
will. We
pins
should
in.
absolutely
pin.
map.
Yeah.
We'll put Pinsky on that.
I'm
That's your
also
job,
a
Pinsky.
combat
Pin.
veteran, too, and I
Pinsky.
appreciate everything. You guys appreciate it.
We appreciate you, man. Absolutely, 100%. We're thank you for calling into the show and representing.
Good job. We totally forgot about that. Good thing he reminded us that we were offering that.
Yeah, that we're giving away the nectar. Yeah, we almost wrapped it up. So yes, we got that. Well, right on, everybody. We're gonna clear the lines and wrap up the year. Chris, can we disconnect and open up? Thank you guys for calling in again.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the year.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. thanks from Canada.
From Canada, Bubbleman. Thank you for being and letting me know where Beasters came from. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's a great mystery. That was a big part of my life, and had a lot to do with me sitting here now. So it was kind of like a great way to fulfill myself on the year. All right, so the lines are clear, nice, and we're 10 minutes left, dude.
10 minutes left in the year.
It's like
Misty
New Year's Eve.
Get ready. Oh, we should have had at least poppers.
Poppers,
Oh,
not the kind that Ryan wants.
I had firecrackers
Next year.
at home.
Another
I thought
year.
about it.
Firecrackers.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
That usually goes well in studios.
That's
how they burn down the
It
rocks.
would
scene,
announce
actually.
my arrival, so you know.
But no, it was good. Good. We actually pulled it off. It was pretty interesting because there was a lot of crazy. No
With
timer.
no timer.
No timer. Well, good thing we didn't have a timer because it would have never made sense. We'd have been like all up.
No, it worked. We got it all did. We didn't get Dave on the line.
We'll figure out.
Just
what
means we got to bring him
Dave
back
and
in
Nick
season
T,
2.
Those were our 2 failures.
Yep. Well, that's not too bad.
I think we had some successes.
Yeah. No, that was
personally, I've had amazing success. I mean, not to just beat a dead horse here, but I want to just make sure everyone knows that if you're fucked up on pain meds, get with the concentrates, man, for real. Because 14 years a slave is no joke, and for me, it's been. I can't even tell you how amazing it is to not have to live my life like on a timer, having to take medication. And at some point, it's you're not even sure if you're in pain or if you're just taking this shit just to not be sick. And
well, that's usually addiction right there.
Well, chemically,
called
your
called
brain-
heroin. I think.
Well,
brain
look,
can
man.
register
Look.
pain.
I was under medical supervision. Under the best doctors supposedly in New York, and quite frankly, being able to have access to concentrates and extracts. Mark didn't get as much into the chemistry, right? But just when you're smoking flower, you're partially decarbing cannabinoid acids, which are it's a different story, than when you're making an extract, and then you have a much higher percentage. I mean, you're still and when you vaporize that stuff at a higher temperature, then you're really getting a more medicinal delivery. And I can tell you that after 28 years of smoking cannabis with joints and bongs and flower, that the therapeutic benefit that my body has had. I mean, I'm 80 pounds lighter. Take a look at me, and people who know me from the East Coast know me.
I know you in the year I've known you. You're definitely slimmed
dude,
down.
you should have seen me in 2012, man, when I was 325 fucking pounds. Okay, and I was on 1,250 milligrams of OxyContin. That's some serious shit.
How long did it take you to get to zero?
Well, what happened was I started tapering pretty quickly, and then I knew that I had to lose the weight at the same time because I didn't want to get off the pain meds and still be super heavy and have my back be fucked up. Or even, So really, I started at the beginning of 2013. Mitch, we were talking about trying to wrap up the year.
Right.
This year for me has been incredible, and I really got to thank High Times, man, for giving me the opportunity to judge every cup concentrates this year, because being in New
That's
York,
your healthcare plan right there.
I mean, seriously, and it's
better than Obamacare.
No, for real. I mean, it really was.
High Times, their new Medicare.
Look, I would just say that, for me, it was a unique opportunity because my first cup was in '94, and this is 20 years later, and this, could possibly be the last cup in Amsterdam, and it's just it was a really a good story for me to be able to have participated in that and to have it saved my life.
Well, thank you for that.
And I think that's emblematic of the year in cannabis at large, right?
I
Is that what
have
you're going to say?
I have to give my own anniversary shout out.
We're running over this show.
I'm sorry, I Cannabis Radio. We'll sneak it in, but just especially listening to to Pinksy talk about it. So this is 1 year for me of 0 surgeries for cancer. I've had skin cancer 7 times, and on Halloween last year, I had a lumpectomy. And I'd been using cannabis for a lot longer than, all of that started happening, but definitely in the last year, the biggest difference between the years prior is access to more concentrates and being able to make my own edibles and figure out what works and get a good system going. And I didn't have to use painkillers outside of being, put under and, going home after surgery.
Mazel tov, as
so
they say.
it's, cannabis is
There you go. Success
It's
stories
the
all around.
cure.
And that's like I think that's sort of just the moral of safe access. It's not even like, obviously we know cannabis does all these wonderful
Right.
things.
Yeah, but you
but
gotta
if you
get to
can't
it.
get a hold of it,
Right.
what's the big deal?
What can you do? Yeah.
Sure.
And having it consistently on a consistent basis,
Right.
available at a consistent quality or potency,
Right.
in a consistent amount, and just a convenient and
Well, it's
consistent
I'm
manner.
a healthier person because I have that, and
Well, that's a
everyone
struggle.
should.
That's a struggle right there that every stoner's ever tried.
Well, that's your body.
That's your,
That's
trying to
your
keep a
body
consistent
being
supply,
keeping
the
healthy.
same.
That's the
Never
endocannabinoid
change
system
it.
functioning right there.
But that's what's possible
Mm-hmm.
in a regulated environment, or even if I don't think for a moment I'm not against just decrim and full on legal. Is it go full legal if you? I guess people have asked for comments on the raids yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like your comments on the raids, Adam.
Well, I mean, like I said, like I was telling you guys earlier, after moving here to Colorado, I have not even thought 1 minute that I would like to do an illegal grow, because it just doesn't seem smart if you're going to move to a state where it's legal, follow the rules and do the things right. But of course, this is a classic example of people, using the system to their advantage because of the way it's set up right now. And the fact that people are a little bit lackadaisical when they see big grow. It's just a big grow. They smell weed. It's just weed. No big deal. But I mean, we as Colorado have to be smart about this. We can't just be running giant illegal grows and exporting cannabis all around. It's just not a smart idea. It's bad for the state, bad image, and it's not. We only have to wait 2 or 3 more years, and then all those states will have their own access.
Well,
and
and
they
that's,
won't need to.
What's your
move to other
message then
states.
to our listeners in the other states?
To let's help change their state and make it so that they're possible to just do what. That's what I said about Europe the whole time. The reason why Amsterdam had always so much pressure on it is because no other country wanted to get out there and do it. Move on,
first,
grow up and be like them and actually make some money. And that's pretty much. It's all about the money too. That's what people just do. They all get jealous about the money. If you want,
But
the
everyone
money,
makes more money if
gotta
you
have-
start a new place. Don't come here.
Yeah.
And take
Right.
and drop the prices down here.
No, go
wherever you are.
and also local access to everything. I mean,
I think the universal lesson of the Adam Dunn Show is that scientifically and historically, if you grow better cannabis, you will get more money for it. Also, I think we've established that
those
at
are the
least once
three
or twice
themes.
on every episode.
just grow better weed, please.
Just grow it better.
So-
Cure it, please.
Coming
Trim
to
it
season
nice.
2 then, people want to know how to do that.
Right.
So can we tell them how to do that?
Sure.
Do you guys want some instructional shows? Do you guys want to, I don't know, learn about specific topics or talk to specific experts, certain techniques, whatever? We have a knack for tracking people down and getting it from the horse's mouth.
I think this year we need to concentrate on doing a few more out of studio stuff, so we have some really quality stuff to show people without having to mimic it all here. Because it's kinda hard doing
produced bits and
actually
such.
produced bits.
And that's something we want to try to do. And so that's why definitely subscribe on YouTube. Go to YouTube right now. Search The Adam Dunn Show. Go to our channel. Click subscribe. You can also do it from every video if you've ever watched a video of ours.
can.
And if you subscribe, you'll see every video that we drop. We're going to do more short form stuff. So if you guys want to see little 5-minute dealies, 10-minute dealies, you don't have to commit for 2 hours. And,
Even though I know most of you love to, because it's one of the great things about the show is that actually the listeners listen to the whole show, which is thank you for doing that, people.
Yeah,
Whoever
people
does that,
say it's long and they love it anyway.
I've seen people
So
saying it's
thank you.
short. We have complaints that it's not long enough.
Yeah, and that's something we may also try to do some
Chris don't
overtime
want to
shit.
hear about that. He's all, what?
What? I got to
We're
get
already-
out of here. I
We're
got
already
things to
overtime
do.
right now. This is terrible. I want to give a quick shout out to the Hood Lab store so everybody understands that we're still around. It is getting cold as of today. Yesterday, it's starting to happen. People.
I'm picking up my jacket from
I got
It's
my
time to
parka,
show.
man.
It's
It
time.
is sick.
It is.
dude.
It's-
I need the ladies' parka.
Of course, and
No, I
it's
got the men's parka.
shop.hoodlabstore.com, and that is
Hello.
the direct access to our web store. And then, of course, we're on Saturday this week. We'll be at the Big Wonderful, which is the last one too. So if you feel free to come down if you're in Denver, and you can see us live.
I drove by it on the way to the studio today. It's fucking awesome.
It's jamming.
I hadn't cursed this episode yet. I had to get that in.
Good. No, it's
for the
jamming. It's
1
actually a
year.
really big event now. It's started to get to the point where you're like, really, this is the last one? Now it's like the weed. The last bud's always the best. And you're like, damn, why couldn't the first bud taste as good? It always
'Cause it
cures,
cures,
out. And
yeah.
Yes. Story of our lives. Quick shout out to my wife, also CC, running that store and keeping everything
Killing
going.
it.
And
What's the
baby
code? Tads 420
is the.
If you're going on shop.hoodlabstore.com, Tads 420 is the code.
And you get
and it's all on the Facebook.
If you haven't checked with us on Facebook, the Adam Dunn Show on Facebook, also my personal Mitch Shinasa Facebook.
I hope we got 8 more views too on YouTube.
So we have hit 25,000 views. Do you want me to check it?
Is that official?
It's okay.
We'll check it later. Look at our Facebook to
we'll
find
be
out.
excited
Or look at
about
our
it.
YouTube, I guess. We are on Instagram too.
And quick shout out for you.
Of course, I'm working my way. I'm wending my way.
All right.
A victory lap.
Chris wants you to shout out.
I know.
Now.
Victory lap.
Now he says.
Okay. Of course, shout out to my beautiful wife listening, Reese, and little baby Farron, who's like constructing complex thoughts now. Like she'll like separate her toys into piles of stuff she wants to play with and piles that she doesn't, and figuring out how to play with each one, and it's pretty awesome.
Kids are cool, man.
She's gonna grow up to be a little anal retentive Mitch style. It sounds like
What?
maybe, and a little bit kind of
I
organized.
don't think
You say that about little kids. The word anal and kids is
and also I don't think you've seen my personal effects. I'm
Gets me
definitely
all-
not
gets me all
organized in any way.
Your office spaces, at least. That's what I see.
That's thanks to the benefit of a lot of other helpful
Try to bring
people.
try to bring them down to the Big Wonderful. It's a kids friendly.
Kid-friendly.
They're all going to be dressed up for Halloween because it's the day after Halloween. So and you get to see all the people coming back from the parties from the day before that are
that's
just
pretty
so
good. They're
ruined.
all
and they're
haggard. That's pretty good.
I love those.
That's good
And
too.
candy's
It's a
on
great
sale
environment
that
to
day.
mix kids in.
The walk of shame after Halloween is the best one. You know, that's the one when it looks rough.
Everyone's in there like
You're
half of a costume.
Yeah, exactly.
People are colder. They're like, "Oh my god, it's October. Why would I wear this?"
And
little?
then the funny part is the day after Halloween. Well, this year won't be so bad because it's on a weekend. But usually when it's like on a really weird day, if you're still dressed up, you're just so weird all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like the day before, you were just everything's normal.
Like the
Next day-
week before, you could
really?
dress up,
What?
but and
yeah, the
after?
day after, you're
over.
What's that guy doing dressed like that?
Exactly. Well, thanks, guys. I think it was a successful year.
Thanks for listening for a year, man. Congrats to Adam for getting the show going and
I want
creating the
to
concept.
congratulate myself for actually getting up Wednesdays every week. It's been
Doing
amazing.
it. It had to slip a little from 11 to 11:30,
I
but
had
for
to
the
push
better.
I did have to push the times back.
And
I
hopefully
never made
we've
it at
helped
11,
your
so-
guys Wednesdays and your trim sessions because I hear a lot of people like listening when they trim.
That's good.
And for that
I like
reason,
to listen to talk radio when I trim too. It's way better than music sometimes because you're.
the rhythm's better. Snip, 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 snip. I got to trim tonight, I think. So,
on trimming. All right,
guys,
thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.